the time? Oh shit, doesn't matter. Alright, let's go. We forgot about the timer, but it's fine. All good. Alright. We're into the game, guys. Sorry, we're here with my brother today, Jack, but we only just started, so we just got here in time for the game. Thank God they fucked up the bounce to start off. That gives them extra time.
Not surprised by that. That happens every week.
Yeah.
Every game.
Every time they fuck up the bounce. Looks like Rochelle's starting the middle for the Crows. Umpire bouncing it up. Coming out the back of the stoppage here is Laird. Gets a good pick up. Does nicely Merritt with the tackle. That's a throw. Great work from Merritt. And the first free kick will go to the Bombers in the middle of the ground. Are you surprised the Crows are wearing red? Why are they wearing red?
It's their clutch jersey.
Redmond comes off the half-back. Kicks towards goal. Mason Redmond sneaks it in. Yeah. Great start for the Bombers. Gets the little kangaroo ears up for his signature celebration. And the Bombers get the first. Well, that was a quick start for the Bombers.
Yeah, it took 26 seconds. That's all they needed.
You've got to be on that. That's pretty poor from the Crows.
Yeah.
Mason Redmond's known for that, especially this season.
Yeah.
And he finishes from 55, bursts it home, and the Bombers off to the perfect start.
Yeah, just, very poor. Very
poor marking from the Crows. They got to do better than that.
Very inexperienced that was. That was just very, very poor, really.
Great tackle here from Zach Merritt. He's been brilliant this year. He may not have had... He's probably the same amount of disposals as well, but he's also playing that defensive game, which is definitely why they wanted him as captain. And that's a great finish from Mason Redmond.
Yeah.
So a great start here for the Bombers. 30 seconds into the first term. Little knockdown there from O'Brien. Comes towards Caldwell. Gets a little handball out. Gets past Durham. Rankin comes through nicely. Handballs it out, but turns it over. Here go the Bombers. Great kick from Perkins inside the forward 50. And Peter Wright takes the mark on the lead.
Fast start by the Bombers.
Yeah, it's a big game for Peter Wright today. Pretty poor last week against Port Adelaide they played last week? No, the week. Yeah, it was last week with Dan Houston's goal.
Yeah.
So, big game for them tonight, the Bombers. Great start here as well. And Peter Wright, after his first game back against Carlton, kicked the 5 goals. Been pretty quiet since. He comes in now, Peter Wright, kicks towards goal, leaves it out to the right a little, and just scrapes in for a behind. So, a hot start, like you said, for the Bombers. So, a good start here for the Bombers. Kick in will come in from Hinge. Goes wide, just keeps it inside the field of play, marked by Rory Sloane.
Nick Murray.
In fact, it's Murray, the good call. So I can already see with the chat in the way. So long kick down the wing, up goes Fogarty, brings it down to ground, pretty good. Durham runs through, great pick up. Just got the ball away. Parrish tackled well from Sloane, thrown out of it. Now Keys, little underground handball, finds Laird, and Laird drives it towards the forward 50. Walker in a 1-on-1. Big match-up between them two today, Thatcher and Walker. Now McGrath gives it off to Redmond, who ran out of bounds, definitely.
But doesn't really matter.
Nonetheless, Laverde gets taken out of bounds from Rankin.
Yeah, that's the big battle today. If Thatcher can match it with Walker, they'll go a long way to them winning this game, the Bombers.
Yeah, Walker currently leading the Coleman medal, which I don't think anyone would have seen coming going into the season.
Yeah.
And we're probably going into about 8 rounds in. I don't think anyone would have seen that happening.
Yeah. Well.
Dawson tries to get the clearance, gets a little handball out to the left-hand side, finds Scholl, who gets it inside the forward 50 with an ill-directed kick. Great tackle from Pedler. Grabs up Kelly very nicely. Former Crow, another stoppage. So a very quick game of footy so far. As we were expecting at Marvel Stadium. Walker takes it out of the ruck. Gets a little kick away. Trickles towards the pocket. Coming through with Rochelle. Can't tackle him. Just gets hold of him there, Parrish. But gets the hands free. Now Sloane. Great smother from Parrish. But Walker coming through. Breaks one tackle. Snaps on the left. Taylor Walker. Will it get enough bend? It just misses.
Yes. That's where he can also dominate Taylor Walker.
Yeah, playing as that ruckman, as our forward ruck. We see Tom Hawkins do it for the Cats. Taylor Walker's probably second best in the competition for doing that. But in the pocket now we've got Martin, who'll get a free kick down the field here for the Bombers. Bad play there from Fogarty. He's known for doing that. But here go the Bombers inside the forward 50 now. Long kick finds Kyle Langford. Great mark. Matched up with Michael Aney tonight. He goes long kick here with a 1-on-2, and then Hinge gets across, gives him some support, and it's through for a behind. Wasn't really the best kick from Langford. Gave really no chance for Wright to win that one.
Yeah.
It's a really quick game of footy so far. So we go the Crows straight through the middle of the ground. kind of cut that one off there, Rankin, from Walker. Then Kelly drags him to the ground. And Rankin, just at the point of the centre square, Kelly drags him down at half forward. So umpire throws it up again. O'Brien wins it down straight down to Parrish, who gets a quick kick inside the forward 50. Great pick up there. Was nearly in the back there. I think it was Menzies. Eventually gets it out to Hinge, and Hinge works it on half back to Sloan in a one-on-one. Does well there, Durham on Sloan, and then picks it up nicely. Did really well. Hamble wasn't the best though to Parrish. He's still got a lot of pressure behind him. O'Brien gets a hands free. Well on there from Parrish with a little side step. Gets a high ball towards the forward 50. Up goes Cole Langford.
No, that's really, really poor by the Crows. Like, on the wing, had 5-on-2, and just... You have to win that contest, and Durham and Parrish did really well there for the Bombers.
Yeah, and then again, 2-on-1. Duday, that was Shaq, it was Lockie Scholl. Sorry, Duday's not playing tonight. But yeah, you were right. There was a lot of Crows players around that ball, but it just seemed like Durham wanted it.
They were all ball watching. Like, yeah.
Not a good start.
Really poor, and Michael Lanning might have his match tonight at the moment.
Kyle Langford been great in front of goal, especially from the set shot this year. 21 goals, 9 from the set shot. Pretty easy one, this one. Kyle Langford comes in and converts for the Bombers. Great start tonight, this afternoon. Bombers lead it by 13.
Yeah, just good fast start by the Bombers, and it's what you expect on this ground at Marvel.
Well, yeah, last week they were playing against the Port Adelaide, and look, if it was for 20 less seconds in that game, then Houston doesn't have a chance to have that shot, but that's very nicely there.
Yeah. And
he's converted very well to start this one. Meanwhile, in the other game, just quickly, Geelong are leading by 55 points over North Melbourne early in the fourth quarter. Fucking idiot, fifth quarter. Yeah, so at the moment, we've got a couple of leading goal kickers, all 3 goal kickers for the Geelong. It's got Close, Hawkins, Henry, and Stengel all with 3 goals. So they're really dominating North Melbourne. I mean, not really much, not expected there. We kind of think that was going to kind of go that way. But nonetheless, so free kick in the middle of the ground. He'll go to the Bombers through Ben Hobbs. Been very good this season since the injury to Parrish. And now he's come back into the team, Parrish. Ben Hobbs still finding a little bit more time in the midfield. He goes long with the kick. Great tap down from Peter Wright. Menzies snaps towards goal. This is a hot start for the Bombers. Matthew Nix looking for some answers in the box, and the Bombers are off to a hot start. That was a great little tap there from smart play from Peter Wright. He knew if he took possession, he was going to get immediately tackled, so he just tapped it in front of his small forward like a ruckman, and 3-goal start here for the Bombers.
Yeah, it's just...
Crows really would have wanted to come into this game with a hot start away from home. They have not played that well away from home this year, and it's a really poor start.
And it just shows that the forward, like in Peter Wright, it doesn't need to impact in kicking goals every game. He can do that sort of stuff and bring other players into the game.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, he didn't... The ball hit the ground here, got out the back. Peter Wright, he knew he had teammates around him, and then Menzies, great finish around just a little snap kick from, pretty easy angle really, but great finish nonetheless. Be very good for Menzies for the Bombers this year. Back in the ruck, Phillips, a little tap down. Perkins couldn't grab it though. Now Dawson needs to lift a little bit here for his team. He drives a long ball inside the forward 50. Walker against 2. It gets out the back. The Crows got players here. Rankin off to Ben Keys. Been in some brilliant form lately, Ben Keys. Crows finally get there first. And a quick reply from Adelaide, courtesy of Ben Keys. Great finish there. Yeah, they needed that one.
He's had a good month for footballers, Keys. So
yeah, basically since the bye. He's been in some really good form just before the bye as well. And he's been playing a lot more midfield time, so good to get on the board once again, but good finish there from Ben Keys. It's a great reply because they really needed that one. It's still only a couple of minutes into the game so far. We've already seen 4 goals in the space of game time of just under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think we're expecting a pretty fast game of footy today. Both teams like to play attacking football. This could be easily a 100-100 game.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
It seems like it at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
5 minutes, not even 5 minutes of actual game time, and you've already got 27.
Yeah, 27 points on the board. It's a very hot start. So back in the middle, Phillips again knocks it down. Caldwell did nicely. Great little feint with the handball. Gives it off to his captain in Merritt. He sends a high ball towards centre half forward. There's probably a free kick there to Hinge. Hobbs didn't really front on contact against Ben Hobbs.
Yeah, just this clearance game at the moment from the Bombers is really showing.
Yeah, Andrew Phillips is dominating the ruck. So Hinge comes onto the interchange side. Sorry, broadcast side was the word I was looking for. Off to Murray. So now Murray He plays on now. Big job for him today with the loss of Jordan Butts to injury last week. Long kick. Dawson couldn't get there. Free kick's been pulled out here. I think it's against Thilthorpe. It is. So it will go to Laverde. He's got a big job today on Thilthorpe. Obviously got to help out his mate and Zerk Thatcher tonight. Well, this afternoon on Taylor Walker. He drives a long ball back towards that broadcast side. 2-on-2. Warwick gets up and it gets out the back. Brodie Smith will get there first. He looked inside, then went back outside. Snaps across his body. It's actually going to work out. Finds Jordan Dawson on centre wing. He goes in short, works it inside. He go the Crows. Rochelle now has the football. Redmond can't get back now. He's on the mark. Good kick out wide. He finds Sloan. Sloan play it on. Umpire calls him. So he sets it up towards the avenue inside. Goal up goes! Martin. Great mark. I didn't really expect Nick Martin in the back 50 to take a contested mark like that, but he did well. So now Zerk Thatcher off half back. Doesn't have too many options. Only got the runner in Menzie who gets the handball. Down the wing, good kick. Couldn't take the mark there, Langford, but kept it in front. Wiedemann finds Hobbs, and now in the middle they go here, the Bombers. Martin off to Merritt for about 60 metres out. Zach Merritt drives it towards home and sneaks it in. He's been inspirational this season. Zach Merritt is the new captain. He's lifting his side in so many ways, and a great finish from inside the centre square. Skids home for a goal. Hot start indeed, I think you said there.
Yeah, Matthew Nix has got a problem here. That, even though that wasn't really an inside 50, every time it seems to go in there, they just seem to score the Bombers. It's really...
I know both these teams want to play very attacking, but it seems at the moment, if the game keeps on going like this, that the Bombers are going to have a really good day. Again, it was a very dangerous kick there from Sloan. Not enough representation. For a kick inside the forward 50 for the Crows, there was no tools there. It was got a Lockie Scholl, Isaac Rankin, I think Ben Keys in that contest.
They didn't spread the defence of the...
Yeah.
They weren't marking him.
Yeah, Zach Merritt was way left off the leash there. O'Brien knocks it down, straight down to Parrish. Again, they get the clearance here, the Bombers. And it's that man, Zach Merritt. He runs in for about 60 metres out, chips it in short inside the forward 50. Langford has a lot of time to work with. Snaps across his left boot, don't know about that option. But Martin takes the mark! They're everywhere at the moment, the Bombers. I don't know if that went 15.
I don't think it went 15, but it was 1v... It was 2v6,
Again, a good little snap. Yeah, that wasn't 15.
That was
by any means.
Clearly wasn't 15, but...
Nick Martin will take it every day of the week. Very tall guy. I didn't really realise that from Nick Martin, but been an inspiration this year. All-Australian talks for him, playing off the wing. Probably been up there with Josh Dacos and Errol Goulden as the best wingman this year. Also with Langdon and Hunter. But he comes in now. Low kick. Looks pretty nice. Sneaks it in. The Bombers got another. Nick Martin nails the goal. And the Bombers have 5 quick ones early in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's not what the Crows wanted, but... But because it's been a fast start, they've got plenty of time to turn it around.
Yeah. It's not even 10 minutes of playing time into the first quarter, and yet they're dominating at the moment. Meanwhile, in the other game, Geelong lead it by 105 to 50 over North Melbourne. Not really a surprise there. And the late game today is Fremantle versus Carlton. So big game for both clubs. Whoever loses that game probably out of the finals race. And whoever wins that game's right in the hunt, really. And obviously today, this game is a big one. Whoever loses this game today between Essendon and the Crows will be definitely teetering on that 8th spot, with the Cats catching up as well. And they would actually be in the 8th. Whoever loses this will be out of the 8 tonight.
Yeah.
With the Cats winning today.
Yeah.
So we're back in the middle again. Really got to fix it up in here, the Crows. O'Brien knocks it down to Laird and then Sloan. Chance here for the clearance here. Sloan gives it off to Laird but misses him completely. Got him wrong-footed. It was a terrible handball, to be honest. Now Parrish and the Bombers will get clear. Hobbs now on the wing. Has a short option. Great kick on the opposite foot. Was that a mark? Chop with the arms, I believe, was paid.
Yeah, this butt's concern here for the Crows at the moment.
Really long kick here from right. 2-on-1 in the pocket. String out his arm, held a little bit, but it wasn't paid. Great work there from Roy Laird to get back and thump that out of bounds.
Yeah, without butts here, they've really got to get double team start.
Yeah, Peter Wright. They're definitely eyeing him early because... Yeah. Nick Murray has been very good in defence this year for the Crows, but it looks like he's a little bit hard done by with the height of Peter Wright at the moment. So back inside the forward 50 here for the Bombers. O'Brien thumps it down to the front of the stoppage. Hobbs nearly got a high one, then slung down there by Riley O'Brien, and the free kick for holding the ball. How you doing, Nash? What are you up to today? So now on the half back is Brodie Smith. Drives a low ball towards the centre wing, but Taylor Walker Gives away a free kick in frustration. Now McGrath off to Laverde. Drives it towards half forward. Up goes Peter Wright. Great mark. Had the hands out. Don't see that a lot. A lot of players now just go for the chest mark. That was a great mark from Peter Wright. He's got those long levers. He should reach out and mark it. He plays on now, Peter Wright. From about 55 metres out!
Nah.
On the last line is Riley O'Brien to thump it through for a behind.
Yeah, it was...
Yeah, I don't know about that
No.
option. I think he was in two minds when he was driving that towards goal.
Under the roof, it's very hard to get that, obviously, because you don't have the wind, obviously. You don't... It's very hard to do it.
I think he should have probably thought of just... I think he went in two minds. He was going to think about goal, but also setting up to top of the goal square. Kind of went in the middle, and then that's what happens. Nearly cut that off there was Kelly. Great pick up there from Caldwell. Slung down there from O'Brien again. Ball up. Good tackle there from O'Brien. Don't think that was a free kick there. You go for St Kilda? I'm sorry, bro. I'm a Swan supporter, so I can't really talk much. Hobbs tackled well there by Saligo. McHenry couldn't gather it. Now Laird almost tackled without it there from Heppel, but eventually gathers it. And Heppel drags him to ground. Another stoppage.
It's right, there wasn't high there. Get for Laird there.
Yeah. So probably the first time in this match that we've had a little bit of a breath to take. So now O'Brien takes it out of the ruck to Sloan, and now Laird. On the wing, drives a long ball towards half forward, but again, not much representation. That could be 50 against Riley Thilthorpe, and it is.
It's really poor, though, by Laird. Like, he's going to a person in Thilthorpe. Yeah, it's 2-on-1.
Thilthorpe's going to get away 50 yet. Well, that's a long 50.
Yeah.
He's on half back there. He's gone half forward. So Zerk Thatcher now drives the long ball to the top of the goal square. Leading up was Peter Wright. Almost got the arm chop play on Rankin to Scholl. Just got away with that one there from Snelling. Gets a kick towards the boundary on the outer side. Grabs it well there by McGrath. Jams it back on the boot. High ball towards the top of the goal square. Up goes O'Brien. Gets out the back. Laird has some time. Handballs it dangerously back to Miller, and he's happy to tap it through for a rush behind. Pressure everywhere at the moment for the Bombers. It's for the Crows. They can't do anything with the football.
They've got to... Yeah, they've got to slow it down, the Crows.
Yeah, it may not be their natural game, the Crows, to slow this ball down, but the Bombers are just running all over them at the moment.
Just for like another 5 minutes, just to slow down the play and play a bit of boundary.
Yeah. Just subscribe to appreciate that, Nash. We're up to 64 subscribers, I think, now.
Yeah.
Let's go. So now Scholl, defensive side of the wing, drives a long ball towards Thilthorpe in a 1-on-1. Zerk Thatcher took the ball, but then left it behind and gave it to Keys. Keys went right, then left, then kicked it inside the forward 50, dribbles it towards the goal, forward pocket, but Heppel gathers it. Oh, not the best kick. Makes his teammate run for it, but he picks it up nicely. Has some time to work with, and just kicks it short into Durham. So, again, not really a lot of pressure on the play, and the Crows just have no representation down the wing. So, when they do eventually go... that was a dangerous kick, but marked it in the end. They just have no representation down the line when they go long.
Yeah.
The Crows. Oh, dangerous kick from Zerk Thatcher. Merritt played for the free, didn't get it. Scholl drives it inside the forward 50, and Taylor Walker takes the mark. He plays on, he goes short to Pedler, it's on 15. Pedler has to play on, kicks towards goal, Luke Pedler, and gets it home. So the Crows nearly messed it up, but they just get it through there, Luke Pedler, and the Crows desperately needed that.
Yeah, That just seemed the only way that the Crows were going to score was from a turnover.
Yeah, it had to be a very bad turnover too. I don't know about what Zach Merritt was doing there. He was trying to look for the block free kick, but didn't get it.
Yeah, just need to play it on its merits, and it was never going to be paid for free. So
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, back in 22 minutes, it's a bit ominous, but alright, all good. There, Nash. Maybe I'll put the chat up here so we can actually see the scores for the other games. Yeah, because it's down here in the corner. So yeah, Geelong lead it by 61 points over North Melbourne. That's not really a shock. That's why Geelong are going to make finals, because they have all those games at fucking GMHBS Stadium.
Yeah.
So a good goal there for the Crows. Get one back. Phillips knocks it down straight back to Hobbs. They've got to work on this clearance play here, the Crows. They're getting dominated in the middle. Hobbs gets it inside the forward 50. Not the best kick. Murray coming through. Did well. Gets the ball out. Snelling went in hard. Out comes Guelphy to Hobbs. He plays on. Steps past 3 players. Ben Hobbs kicks it towards the top of the goal square. Gets out the back. Right. Snaps on the left boot. Good smother coming through. I think it was Chase Jones. Saved a goal there and just goes through for a behind.
Yeah, just needed to do anything there. The Crows just not make that a goal.
Yeah, they all just stopped by Ben Hobbs to step past all of them.
Like 7-1 in centre clearances. That's just a domination at the moment from the Bombers.
Great spoil there from Jordan Ridley. And then McHenry tried to look for a high one. It was out of bounds beforehand.
No,
Was paid, though.
Given it.
He was out of bounds before that. Anyway, up goes Walker. Great mark. He plays on immediately. They've got players everywhere with the Crows. Takes the mark to Ligo. He runs towards 50. He breaks 40 now. He doesn't have many options. He goes in short. That's not 15, but it will be paid for Riley Philthorpe. Saligo almost threw himself into trouble there. He kept on bouncing the football like it was basketball. But nonetheless, Riley Philthorpe from about 20 metres out, slightish angle, have a chance here for the Crows to get 2 in a row. And for all the dominance so far the Bombers have had, they're only going to be leading by, 14 points if Philthorpe converts from here. 16 points.
Yeah.
So now Philthorpe comes in. Not much angle to speak of. Pretty close in. Nails the goal. And the Crows have got 3. 2 in a row for the Crows. They're back in the hunt. Well, yeah, they've got to work on the centre clearance game in the Crows at the moment, but a couple of quick goals get them right back into the first quarter after being dominated very early on. So, current ball winners at the moment, we have 6 touches to Ben Hobbs and McGrath lead all comers on the ground. And for the AFL Fantasy watchers out there, we have Nick Martin with the 29 and Zach Merritt with the 24 rounding out the top 2 players at the moment. Crows highest is 21 with Riley O'Brien. But I definitely think that Phillips has dominated the ruck role so far.
Yeah, Phillips is really dominating at the moment.
And even if he's not winning the ruck, then immediately the Essendon midfielders are just on that front foot, just quickly and just getting the easy clearances. So back in the middle now. Phillips gets the knockdown in front of the stoppage. Coming through was Laird, left it behind though. Probably got a high one, wasn't paid. So Laird gets it back out to Jones and he heads it forward half back. On the commentary side, Scholl gets there just. So he takes a bit of a breath here. Crows just taking a little bit of the sting out of this game in the past 5 minutes, and they've got 2 goals to show for it. Scholl drives a long ball down the wing. O'Brien's his option. Great work from behind from Phillips, brings it to ground. Saligo, worried out of it by Heppel, does well. Now McGrath, off to Parrish. He kicks the ball down towards the forward, towards his tall forward in Peter Wright, but cut off by Murray. And the Crows want to go now. Michael Lanny, dangerous kick, it's cut off. Here come the Bombers. Snelling gives it off to Caldwell. Just fumbled though. Still has time. Caldwell inside a stringer. He tried to step hinge. He did well, but then left it behind. Great work there from the Crows. Michael Lanny gets the free kick.
Worrell.
Oh, it's Worrell, is it?
Josh Worrell, yeah.
Oh, it is too. Yeah, 24 is Worrell, yeah.
Yeah. Needed, just
mucked
that
up
one fumble by Caldwell and it's,
just cost them. But well done from the Crows to scramble on that defence there because they were away there, the Bombers. So now Murray at half-back. He drives a long ball, 2 on 1 here. Oh, just knocked him over there, Ridley.
Yeah.
Floored Fogarty. And he moves it on quickly. Again, the Bombers just want to go at all points. Parrish over the top to Snelling. Got an option in the pocket. It's Peter Wright, who left it behind, but I think he's being paid the mark.
Yeah.
No, I got a free kick for I think in the back. Something was paid, but nonetheless, Peter Wright will get the ball about 40 metres out, 45, 50 degree angle here. Yeah, I'd probably...
Over the shoulder.
Yeah, over the shoulder. Pay something for it, let's be real. Yeah. It was actually even though it was like a hard mark to take, it was a really good kick because it gave Worrell no chance to spoil it. Now Peter Wright, he's already had 2 points today. Not the easiest kick here for Peter Wright, but a chance here to get the Bombers a little bit more of some momentum in this one. He sneaks it home! And Peter Wright now is the goal. So the Bombers get their 6th goal of the quarter. Great start here from the Bombers. So still heaps of time in this one. There's been, 9 goals kicked already.
Yeah.
It's been a really hot start. So the game... Oh, it's not over. Usually when that thing slides across as the game's over. Why are they telling... Oh, rush behind, epic. North Melbourne are down.
By 55.
By 50 odd points.
Yeah.
Not really a shock there. Yeah, the Bombers are just too quick for the Crows at the moment. As soon as the Bombers get it, no matter where it is on the ground, they're basically just playing on every point. Umpire thumps it down once again. Phillips goes up early, couldn't win it down though. O'Brien wins it down to Laird, eventually gets a good tackle there from Merritt. He drags him to ground. When a merit tackle is made this season, it always sticks.
The Crows fans look shocked.
They look shocked at the moment. They were expecting a lot more early in this first term. Pedler now gets the clearance. Long ball to a one-on-one. Phil Thorpe couldn't mark it. It gets out the back. McGrath gets there first, breaks one tackle, then trips over. Ridley's got some troubles here, but did nicely. Was really composed there, Ridley, in a tough situation. Sends a long ball out just outside defensive 50. Durham couldn't mark it. Jones snaps it back inside. Gets at the back once again. Laverde leaves it behind. Phil thought that was almost a throw play on. Rochelle puts the head down. Didn't get a free. Now McHenry breaks past one. Snaps towards goal net. McHenry! And he's got another! Goals are raining down here at Marvel Stadium. McHenry sneaks it home. 10th goal of the quarter. The Crows have their 4th. Well, it's just some scrambling play. Really wasn't a lot of art to it. But it's beautiful for the Crows. They get another one back. 16 points the difference.
Yeah, they're not playing great footy, but they're still putting the ball in the big sticks. So
yeah, they're kicking straight. If it was 1-goal-4 right now, I'd be in a little bit of trouble. But 4-goal-1, they're still in this game by any means, of course. And you know, the Bombers, I think they're pretty much dominated this first term. Only lead by 16 points at the moment.
Yeah.
Just got the hands free enough here, and then just couldn't hold him there, Caldwell. McHenry just snuck it, a little bit of space, and nails the goal. So 16 points difference. Bombers lead. Still 5 minutes to go in this first term. O'Brien wins it down. Pedler couldn't gather it. Merritt handles a weird ball towards Pedler. Dropped down his knees. Couldn't get away from it. Keys did nicely. Gives it off to Laird. He just thumps it inside the forward 50. In front is Fogarty! And the real chance for a tall forward to get a goal here for the Crows. Darcy Fogarty was just in front there, and with that quick ball movement there from the Crows. Chance here to get their second in a row here. Bring it right back to, within 10 points.
Yeah, just...
Crows really settled into this game after a pretty poor start.
Like most of us, people were just shocked at how fast footy it was going. So
yeah,
we had 5 minutes of composed football and bring it back to 10 points.
Fogarty comes in, kicks it straight as he always does, and the Crows back to within 10 points. So I think today is going to be very much play in front of your man if you're forward, because the clearances are going to be pretty quick inside their forward 50. I think that's going to be the play today as the tall forwards. Great finish there from Darcy Fogarty. And back to within 10 points, the Crows. There's 11 goals kicked in the first quarter. Currently, the Geelong lead by 61 points in the other game right now. That game's pretty much about to finish soon anyway. So, unfortunately for North fans out there, they're not coming back. Not that they ever would anyway. So, back in the middle once again. Whoever's been winning a lot of the clearances has been seemingly getting a lot of goals from them. In the ruck, O'Brien can't get it down to Laird, but eventually gets to it. Dawson been well held in this first term. Gets a dribbling ball towards the wing. Couldn't get the handball to anyone in particular there, Murphy, but dives back onto it. Gets the handball out to Smith. And he jams on the left boot short, but it's cut off. So Hobbs takes the mark. He plays on now. Hobbs on the outer wing. Long kick towards a 2-on-1, which is Wiedemann. But great work there from Jones to give some support. Thumps it out of bounds. So still 4 minutes to play right now. Matthew Nick's looking a little bit more calmer than what he did, about 10 minutes ago.
You sure? He looks pretty...
He looks a lot calmer than what he did.
Yeah.
He looked very annoyed in the first 10 minutes of this game. Little tap down there, probably from Phillips. Gets it out to Durham. Little torpy kick inside the forward 50. Sloan left it behind. Here go the Bombers. Guelphy out to Martin. He dropped that Martin. Got away with it. Perkins almost threw that out. Then Miller tried to break past the tackle. He could be in trouble here. Not paid. Definitely could have paid holding the ball for that, but umpire gave him a reprieve. Just inside the forward 50 of the Bombers. O'Brien knocks it down. Caldwell couldn't gather it. Eventually does in the end. Immediately tackled there from Dawson, but gets the hands free. Worrell gets the ball nicely. Now Hinge sends a really tumble punt ball towards the wing, but a great mark from Fogarty. Could be 50 here. Umpire's calling it back. That should have been 50.
Whoa.
That should have been 50.
Yeah, that should have been that.
That's a shocking decision.
Yeah, that's
I mean, if he can't... He blew the whistle, called him back, and he didn't move. That should have been 50.
Yeah.
Against Laverde. But nonetheless, Rankin has it on the wing. Being pretty quiet in this first quarter. Hasn't trouble with the scorers as of yet. He kicks it long towards half forward. Great work from Zirk Thatcher, 3 deep. Thumps it out. Now Laird gets there first. Gets the handball right back to Isaac Rankin where he once was. Kicks it back inside. They got some space here, the Crows. Worrell kicks another ball out wide. Doesn't really hit McHenry. Wasn't the best kick. Makes him have to wait for it. Durham. Great tackle from Sam Durham. That's holding the footy.
Had to go forward there, Worrell. Like,
Yeah,
he was just go straight.
I get wanting to switch it, but that was not the play there, I don't think. So now to Merritt. Now Merritt drives a long ball to Peter Wright in a 2-on-1. Gets the hands up. Probably got a high one there against Chase Jones. Wasn't paid. Now Hinge. Kicks the ball really wide. Just keeps it in there. And Keys has the football at heart. Just on the defensive side of the wing. Drives the ball inside. That's a bad kick. McGrath cuts it off. Perkins couldn't gather it, but eventually gets it on the bounce. Parrish. Now it's Kelly. Drives it inside the forward 50. 1-on-1. Went up early there. Smith wasn't paid. Jones gets a little tap down, trying to find Miller. He couldn't gather it. Now Jones goes in hard, does well. Now Sloan to Smith. Gets a high ball towards the wing. It's not the best kick. Bombers reading it well. And Mason Redmond, who hasn't been seen since that first goal, has the football. That 2 good kicks away from goal. Doesn't really have any options, so he's just going to go with a low ball towards the pocket. Just keeps it in here, Menzie. Has some space from the pocket. Joy Menzie! Nearly gets there, just can't make the distance. It stays in for a second, but eventually rolls through for a behind.
Yeah, just...
Looked ominous for a moment.
It was a good kick by Redmond, probably... Because it was the only option he really had besides bombing it to the
Top of the
pack.
goal square, yeah. I don't think many Crows players thought he was going to go there, so... It's a good option, and Menzie, if he got maybe another 5 metres on that ball, it could have been interesting.
Yeah.
So now Hinge has the football, kicking duties here for the Crows. Long ball towards the broadcast side. Up goes Fogarty, he couldn't bring it down. Laverde gets it out to Perkins, and he drives the ball just inside the forward 50. In front was Wiedemann.
Takes a contested mark. He hasn't done that in the last couple of weeks.
Did well there, Wiedemann. He's been finding it difficult to hit the scoreboard. I don't think he's hit the scoreboard in over a month now.
They might, yeah, I think he's going to go back for it.
It looks like he's going to go back. Came from the Demons last year, Sam Wiedemann. Wanted more opportunities, so he came to Essendon. Had a 5-goal game earlier this year. He sets it up, though, towards the forward pocket. 2-on-1 there was the Crows, but Guelphy gathers it in front and snaps the goal. Late goal there for the Bombers in the first term. Guelphy finishes nicely.
Well, like 5 minutes ago when Matty Nix looks better, he'd be pulling, well,
He's
scratching his head.
He wouldn't be pulling his hair out exactly, but yeah, definitely be scratching his head. So, by the way, the game just finished over in Geelong. Geelong win pretty convincingly by 62 points over North Melbourne. 19-11, 125 to the Cats. Win by 62 points over North Melbourne, which is 9-9-63. Tyson Stengel with the 5 goals in that one. Really good game from a small forward. Brian Myers had 32 touches as a small forward. That's insane. Tom Atkins, brilliant once again. He's been really good this year, Tom Atkins. Yeah. Especially in the past month and a half. But great front and centre there from Guelphy. Great goal there for the Bombers late in the first term.
Another
poor bounce from the umpire. Shouldn't have any excuse in these conditions, mate.
Third, I reckon, already in the first quarter. So that's, yeah.
Umpire just a little throw up here. Phillips taps it out the back, finding Hobbs. He gets tackled almost without it there from Pedler. Then can't get the handball away. Some of that trick was to Phillips. And now Merritt gets a good clearance inside the forward 50. In front there was Wiedemann, I believe. Couldn't mark it though. Martin leaves it behind. McHenry goes in hard, then let it go. Right. Handballs over the top to Caldwell. Tackled well there from Dawson. Wasn't paid though. Jones ducked down and he gets a free kick though. They got very lucky there, the Crows. Dawson probably should have been given a reward for that. But probably didn't have enough time to get rid of it. Heppel does nicely on Murphy, but then left the ball behind. Walker coming a long way from goal. Great pressure there from Hobbs. Pushes him over. And he gets the free kick. There's still 7 seconds to go over the Bombers. One long kick, 6 seconds now. They don't have a lot of time. Heppel drives a real weird ball. And great mark there from Perkins on 50. So a chance here on the siren. It's going to be a long kick here for Archie Perkins.
He does have the distance to Leicester, I reckon he goes with Torpy.
You think he's got the distance in him with the torp?
Yeah, but the thing is, I think Laverne just said torp, but...
He's kicked 8 goals straight this year from set shots here, Archie Perkins. He's been very straight goal kicking this year, but this is a very hard kick.
He hasn't gone for it. It doesn't look like it at the moment. Oh, no.
He's setting up for the drop punt, it looks like here, Archie Perkins.
No, he's gone torp.
He can't come off his line. It's a long kick here. Drives towards goal. Doesn't have the distance in it, no!
Had to go the tour.
Fucked
Come
it
on.
away
It
there.
was his moment.
His moment, he wasted it.
Ah.
But nonetheless, a massive first quarter from both teams. But it's the Bombers who win out at quarter time. Bombers lead 7-6-48 to the Crows, 5-1-31. So a great first quarter there from the Bombers. The Crows did catch back a little bit, so it wasn't too much of a concern for them. I know what happened to my timer thing, so I'm just going to have to put that there for now. Alright, I'll just bring up the statistics now, guys, and we'll look into the second term. Do you want to make those coffee? Oh, that's right, I'll make them. Do you want to just... No, you don't know how to do it, do you? I'll show you, and you can do it at half time, I guess. God, I couldn't have told you Jordan Dawson had 30 fucking fantasy points in that first quarter.
Yeah, well, if you're looking at 4 tackles,
Yeah.
that's where it's came from. Ooh, getting close in this game. Yeah, I knew it was going to come down to the last bloody matchup.
What?
Oh, my fantasy league matchup.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're going to win easily.
Yeah, like I'm cracked.
Yeah, my rank's gone completely went to shit.
Do you want to do the podcast after this, or do you want to just do it tomorrow?
Nah, we'll do it tomorrow just because the other game.
Ah, okay.
Because the other game won't finish by the time, probably.
We can do the trade rumors today.
Yeah. But
Alright.
show a drink.
Yeah, I know. I told you not to, I knew not to put him in the team.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, so quarter time, leading disposal getters on the ground is Andy McGrath with the 9 touches, and then all with 8 touches we have Archie Perkins, Darcy Parish, Zach Barrett, and Rory Laird. And then with the best fantasy scorers out there, we have Zach Merritt leading all comers with the 39, Peter Wright with the 35, Darcy Parish and Jordan Dawson with the 30, and then Nick Martin rounding out the top 5 with 29. Alright, I'm just going to go make those coffees quickly.
Yeah.
I'll leave it on there for you so you don't lose it or anything. How you doing, VD Entertainment? What are you up to today? Alright. Oops, sorry.
Alright guys, back to the second quarter. So, good tap out by Riley O'Brien. Goes to Rochelle. He goes down forward and, nearly marked. Nearly marked by Walker. Doesn't get it. Gets it back. Comes back. Does it himself. Walker with his left foot. Bounces and it gets for a point. So, good quick start by the Crows. They had to get back into it after that first quarter. Quickly back by McGrath. He quickly brings it out from defensive 50. He gives it to Redmond, and he handles it over to Zerk Fracture. And he goes again. Somehow they've got to the wings really quickly from Snelling. He goes
inside to find Guelphy, and now Parrish has the football. Running from 50, drives it towards goal. Darcy Parrish, will he get the right bounce? It won't make the difference, but off the ground is Langford.
Wow.
Saving it for you. Saving it for you. Great finish from the Bombers. Darcy Parrish really got it.
From this quick fire start from the Crows in that first start the quarter, and they just go down the other end and just kick the goals. So that was another fast starting quarter so far.
Did the Crows already get one though?
Yeah, they got a point already.
Oh.
Yeah, they were.
That's yours, by the way. Did you fix it or the scores?
No.
Alright, so what you do, just click that, then you double click on the points or whatever. Great work there from Kyle Langford, socking it through for a goal, and a great start here for the Bombers in the second term. How you doing, Ed? Little tap down there coming through was Phillips. Gets it out, eventually finds Perkins now. Just got the handball away, but Hinge cuts it off. Great tackle there from Guelphy. Now Dawson gets the handball away, but didn't really get it too far. Now Martin gets a handball inside. Great find to Snelling. And now off to Perkins. Perkins from 51 metres out, kicks towards goal. And it will trickle through for a behind. So what did I miss in the first few minutes?
They got the Crows finally got some clearance and went straight forward. So
and then didn't.
Taylor Walker nearly did it. He did it all himself.
Oh, okay. You said I had a few minutes. That's why I wasn't taking my time.
Well, I thought they did, but guess you didn't.
So Hinge at half back has the football for the Crows. He kicks a high ball towards the broadcast side, 1-on-1. There was Walker, but great work there from Ridley, knocks it out of bounds. So the Bombers just being really quick at the moment. Already on 55, which is insane for a quarter and a little bit of the second term.
It's their second highest score since 2012.
Yeah, not surprised
at the
by
end
that.
of the first quarter.
Hobbs spins out of one, then gets tackled well by Rochelle. Just got the hands free though. Now Parrish, this is sailing towards the boundary line, and it ended up in the first row of the wing. So Parrish being talked a lot about maybe moving on next year. Do you think that would be the right decision for the Bombers if they could find like a tall forward or a key defender?
They need to get a key defender. So
yeah, key defender definitely.
Like if you've seen like Ben Hobbs this season, he's taken that role since.
Great mark from Dawson on the wing.
He did, yeah. Since he.
If they are able, if there is anyone who's extendable, it's like their midfield.
Yeah, they need to sign Redmond over Parrish.
Yeah, agreed. Redmond can't gather it, spills out here to Fogarty, and now Walker snaps towards goal, and the Crows get their first goal of the second quarter. So the Crows get the goal there. Walker being pretty well held so far from Zerk Thatcher, but he gets his first. Yeah, Apple dropped the real sitter there. Sloppy there from Dyson Heppel. He'd be dirty on himself with that. So yeah, guys, we'll be doing a video this week about the trade rumours and stuff, and you guys will see it on the channel eventually. But yeah, we'll talk about like some trade rumours that have been talked about, and one of them wasn't really Darcy Parrish, but because he's not really a trade rumour as of yet. They're just talking about if he moves, could the Bombers let him go? That's not really a trade rumour, really. But yeah.
But Mason Redmond is one.
Yeah, Mason Redmond is definitely one. But we already won't talk about that this week because we talked about him in the first one. We're talking about new rumours. Yeah. There's probably one or two that I don't think you know about, which I think is pretty cool. Which I'll surprise you with when we're watching. Little tap down there was well done there from Phillips, and now gets the clearance Parrish. Long ball inside the forward 50. Great work there from Peter Wright. He gets the mark. Murray not impressed, probably looking for a free kick, but I think it was just really good body work from Peter Wright. And the Crows are just under siege down in defence.
Yeah.
Not really many defences in the competition can defend this level of ball movement from the Bombers.
Yeah, there needs to be more pressure in the midfield from the
they're getting killed in the middle of the Crows.
Besides Laird, Dawson has been not sighted really.
So Peter Wright comes in. He's got a little bit off the outstep and he hits the post. Poor kick there from Peter Wright.
They should be so far ahead, the Bombers.
We've seen a lot of teams this year lose games based on their poor goal kicking. Could that be happening to the Bombers tonight? So now Brody Smith pays out of the defensive goal square. Long kick towards Riley O'Brien. Great mark.
Yeah.
First time he's really been able to take one of those marks today. Phillips has done well to hold in those sort of marking contests, but it's a good mark on the wing. He drives a long ball, long to Dawson, who gets in front, couldn't mark it. He needs to lift a little bit. Hobbs gets the kick on the wing, but it's a poor option. Scholl takes the mark. In fact, it's Chase Jones. So Jones works it out towards the wing. He finds Murphy. Been a bit quiet so far, Lockie Murphy. He's usually a pretty good ball user. Forward side of the wing, he drives it long. Free kick's been pinned here. And it's going to go to the Bombers. So it's paid against, I think, was Rochelle. But nonetheless, Kelly goes into Ridley and he goes in short, finds Parrish. So Parrish, off to Martin. He works it wide to his captain in Merritt, takes the mark. He's everywhere at the moment, Zach Merritt. Almost held there from Worrell. I don't think he was. I think Merritt just kind of couldn't get away from him for some reason. Ridley, he wants Merritt again, but he couldn't get it to him.
Yeah, he was on his wrong foot.
Yeah, so for the first time really today, the Bombers have been slowed. So Redmond works it out wide. Merritt again. Do you have Zach Merritt?
No.
No.
I'm going to get him next week, though.
I have him. Merritt goes in short, finds Parrish. So just some slow ball movement from the Bombers. They're doing pretty well. Long 20-metre handball. He finds Ridley, who drives it inside the forward 50 to a leading Peter Wright. Good spoil from behind there from Murray. Martin gets it forward. Phillips couldn't gather. On the ground, he was Michael Annie. Handballs it back. A little bit of danger in for Jones. He picked it up. Great smother from Guelphy. Came across with some great defensive pressure. Reason why he's in the side, Matt Guelphy. Couldn't get into the team earlier in the season. But great work there from Guelphy to lock it in. That was a great smother.
Yeah,
that was going to be that was going to get out of the defensive 50. Gives the Crows some breathing room, but great diving across.
Yeah, the pressure from the Bombers has been pretty high all game so far.
Yeah, I agree. Worrell couldn't get the hands free. Hobbs, great little dance step. Take me on this dance, Ben Hobbs. Great finish. He's been quality this season for the Bombers. With the injury of Darcy Parrish throughout this earlier in the season, he did very well to keep his spot in the side. And he's emerging as one of the top players for the Bombers in 2023. Did I do something wrong? Oh, 62. Is it 62?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do it that way. You have to click it on the side, because if you click it on there, it moves it.
That's stupid.
I mean, I don't make OBS, and I don't think they'd make it for footy streams.
Yeah, no one marked. Well,
he just stepped through them so easily there.
Yeah, that's very poor. I think, who is it? No, it might have been Hinge there. Like, yeah, just very poor there.
Oh, you might got
it. He was that excited he lost his mouth guard.
Well, that's going to be dirty after the... That's going to be a gross one to pick up, but nonetheless, I don't think he'll mind. Little tap down there from O'Brien, but again, the Bombers get a good tackle there from Dawson. Should be pinned. Wasn't paid, though.
Just dropped that, like, seriously.
Should have been paid. That was a shocking decision. So Rochelle the Laird, and now the Crows working inside the forward 50. Foggy overran it. Great spoil from Ridley. Thumps it 5 rows back into the stands.
The Crows should learn something from this, how the Bombers are defending. They're getting the extra person over to help them out. Like,
but I don't think they can really work that at the moment with the terrible defensive pressure in the middle of the ground.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the first time in a while they've actually got the ball out of the middle.
Yeah.
And even then, it wasn't like a real quick move clearance. Laird gets it out to Pedler. Chance for his second in Luke Pedler. Drives it towards home, and he nails it! Great finish from Luke Pedler. He's got 2 goals now. One of the few Crows players who keep his head up high early in this game. Great finish from Luke Pedler. Off 2 steps, nails the goal from 50.
Yeah, that's not knowing your opposition that.
Yeah,
Pedler's always been a left footer. He's been showing that all season that he can nail those sort of goals.
Yeah, it may not be known a lot in the AFL, like around a lot of the outskirts, but when you know when you're playing against an opposition, you got to know at least their preferred foot. And Pedler just easily got off 2 steps and then nailed it.
Yeah, like where is he?
You watch here. I think it's Nick Martin who lets him.
Yeah, no one's marking him.
Yeah,
it wasn't even
Martin.
Martin.
It was Archie Perkins. I think it was out. He should have just been playing on the defensive side. He's playing on the attacking side. That's probably a little bit of a talking point against the Bombers. They're not really the most defensive orientated team, which I get is fair enough. But sometimes you just have to be in those sort of situations.
Yeah.
Phillips knocks it down, then gets the clearance with a kick out of the air. Doesn't really get too far. Left it behind though with Sloan. Did well to work back onto it. Now Hobbs coming through. Left it behind. Caldwell was clean. Great tackle there from Dawson. Just gets the kick away. Oh, that was smart there from Snelling. Now Perkins to Martin. Snelling again. Gets on the left boot. High ball towards the forward 50. Can't take the mark. There was Wiedemann. Spoiled away. Saligo pushed as he kicked it. Wasn't paid. Now McHenry on the Telstra logo. Runs back, finds Michael Annie, steps inside, then steps out Langford. Langford was too smart, though! Should have been pinned, wasn't paid, must have got a handball away, and Chase Jones takes it out of bounds.
He got a little handball there.
Did he get the handball? That's the question.
He got a little handball there, but come on, it's...
For the theatre umpire.
Very poor. He was very lucky there, Michael Annie.
Bombers fans are begging for a free kick. Yeah, it was too smart there, Kyle Langford. He wasn't going to be stepped. Went on there from Phillips, takes it out of the right.
No.
Probably kicked that one to the forwards there, big guy. Not a very good effort.
He's not a left footer, and he just got too excited. He's
thinking he was Sam Draper there for a minute there, big Andrew Phillips. He has been very good this year, though. He's taken a very long time to come on, Andrew Phillips, but been at multiple clubs. He's doing very well this season for the Bombers. Long kick out towards the wing. That was probably a push against Taylor Walker. Wasn't paid.
It was unrealistic or something.
Didn't touch the ball, but anyway. 18-point lead to the Bombers. Still only 6 minutes of playing time in this first quarter. Maybe some of the people would have thought it would have slowed down a little bit in the second term. Hasn't done much. Sloan, that's a throw. Wasn't paid. Great work there from Merrick. Gets the handball out. Hobbs had the head over the ball. May have got a high free kick. Good tackle eventually, though, from Keys.
Ben Keys and Jordan Dawson need to get back into this game.
Yeah, I've hardly seen either of them. So Dylan Shearer's sub today for the Bombers. Can't get himself into the 22, which I can understand. These young Bombers in the middle have been brilliant. Dawson drags him down.
And Schomburg's a sub for the Crows.
Good call. All good, Nash. Glad you're back. Saligo taps it out towards the wing. Rochelle grabs it. Doesn't have many options, though. He's been quiet so far. Snaps across his right boot, but then he couldn't get anyone on him. So now Hobbs, he runs away on the wing. He finds Parrish. He's got an option inside. He decides an absolute mongrel kick towards Langford. He had an option on 50. That was a terrible... Oh, Michael Annie's turned it over. Parrish has some space. Probably too much space. Kicks it high ball. Finds Nick Martin.
Yeah, I think Michael Annie's finally found it.
And he goes in short, and he finds Jake Kelly, the former Crow.
Could he get it?
Can he get one against the former side?
Yeah, Michael Annie's finding it tough today.
He's had a brilliant start to his career as an Adelaide Crow, but today he's been a little bit shaky at times. That time there, he had the ball in his hands, and instead he just couldn't get the kick away in time. Didn't have a left boot.
Yeah.
And that just cost him at that stage there. Jake Kelly comes in, walks away. He's pretty happy with it, Jake Kelly. Against the former side, nails the goal, and the Bombers get back out to a 4-goal lead. And I really appreciate the cameraman on Channel 7 to not show him kick the goal. What was that? That was horrible. We couldn't even see the goal.
It was a great reaction from him, but you can't...
Yeah, we love the reaction from Jake Kelly, but I would have loved to see the kick as well.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, they're not really out of this... The Crows aren't out of this game because this game is so free-flowing that you could easily get 4 or 5 goals in a row.
Yeah, and the fact is that they're kicking straight. That's what's keeping them in it as well. And they've...
Just again, there's no move... Rochelle just caught too much on the wing, didn't have much space to work into. And then again, the Crows just... I mean, it's hard to defend that because they're obviously thinking of going forward and then obviously they had to quickly transition into defence and then it was quick turnover. So back in the middle, O'Brien wins it down. Parrish almost held without it. Laird gets the handball over the top to Sloan. Made hard there from Martin, and then a great bump there from Redmond. He couldn't gather it there. Scholl still fighting hard. Redmond really clean. Good tackle though from Rankin. Drags him down, being able to stoppage. If only the grand final would be like this match. Yeah, I know. As a Swans fan, I wish the game was a little bit more of a close game last year.
Yeah, they've moved Wiedemann into the ruck, just getting some touches.
I think that's fair enough. O'Brien takes it out of the ruck, gets it to Keys, who fumbled, but then got the handball free. Miller off to Scholl. Long ball towards the top of the goal square. Thilthorpe couldn't mark. Kelly gives it off to Martin, and now Laverde. He sends a high ball towards the outer wing. O'Brien running back. Great mark.
Yeah, that's what Wiedemann's got to do, though. If he's going
to the ground.
Yeah, he's got to match it with O'Brien if he's going to go midfield.
Yeah. So he gives it back to Murray, who drives the long ball into the pocket, 2-on-1 with for Walker, and he couldn't do much with it. Yeah. Thumped away there well from Zerk Thatcher. Started okay so far, Zerk Thatcher. We've seen a few times this year when the big forwards are on him, he has struggled. We saw against Geelong earlier in the season, he really struggled against Tom Hawkins. And against Port Adelaide, he did struggle in the earlier game against Charlie Dixon. But did work hard back into that one. Walker gets a little tap down, then he won it himself. Brings it back inside. Hobbs, great work.
Nice.
He's so slick, Ben Hobbs. Gives it out wide to Parrish, who just ran out on the wing. He was happy to keep on going. Sloan, great tackle on Caldwell. Drags him over the line.
Yeah, what's his name?
Hobbs.
He's done well in the second quarter. He did well in the first quarter as well, late in that quarter. But yeah, he's done really well to start off this second quarter.
Oh, I thought they played a sling tackle for a minute, sorry. I thought they played a sling tackle against Sloan, then I was going to be like, oh, for fuck's sake.
They played a stupid one earlier in the other game this afternoon.
O'Brien takes it down to Scholler, couldn't get the kick away. Great smother. They've been really good on the defensive pressure acts, the Bombers. So now Parrish to McGrath, Hobbs, handball over the top of his head, but McGrath wasn't on the same wavelength. Got back onto it. Ridley, back to McGrath. I don't know how the Bombers still have possession of this. Eventually the Crows cut it down, but Merritt has the football, steps through a tackle to Ridley. Now Hobbs just puts around on the white boot and gets it out of there. Long ball towards the wing. Miller takes the ball really nicely against Guelphy. I don't know how the Bombers kept possession of that ball for so long, but nonetheless the Crows have it now. Scholl on the wing, low ball, finds Rankin.
He's got to get into this game, Rankin.
Yeah, he's being quiet. He's going to have to find him. He has to get into the games, especially when the Crows aren't performing their best. He's very good in games when the Crows are already flying.
Yeah.
But in some games, he's just got to perform in the big times when they need him most. Gets out the back here, Zerk Thatcher. Doesn't gather it, lets his mate and Martin grab it. 1-2 with Merritt. Martin almost left it behind, a little shaky moment. But he's always calm and collected. Great kick. So we go to the Bombers. They work it out wide. He finds Langford, playing a little bit up the ground at the moment. So Kyle Langford. I think one of the most important players of the Bombers side. He can play anywhere on the ground. One of my favourite players to watch, which is a bit surprising. But nonetheless, Laverde to Redmond. A little slow play here from the Bombers. We've seen a little bit of this in this second term.
Just trying to stop the momentum of the Crows at the moment.
Yeah. So now Ridley back to Redmond. Hasn't got many places to go, so gives it to Martin. Back to Ridley. And he works it in short. So now Kelly gives it back to Ridley. He's happy to keep up on running Ridley. Long ball towards the wing. Miller couldn't mark it. Great work there from Guelphy. Wheels around on the right boot. He's got Hobbs at 50. He doesn't want to go there. Gives it inside to Parrish. Parrish now. Short ball into the pocket. Great finish. And finds Jake Stringer. Jake Stringer hasn't been seen today.
That was really poor defensively by the Crows. There was no touching in the entire...
Stringer sets it up to the top of the goal square. Ooh. Hard hit on Ned McHenry, but that's unforgivable for the Adelaide Crows. To take a mark at the top of the goal square for Peter Wright, the most dangerous forward in the Bombers' side, to take an easy lead-up mark at the top of the goal square, that is unforgivable.
Yeah. That was really good by Stringer, though, because normally... he had probably every right to go for that, but he found an easy person inside the squares, which is unheard of.
So Peter Wright looking very good today. Top of the goal square, should finish and does. Bombers lead it by 5 straight goals. Peter Wright's got 2.
Yeah, really poor by the Crows. No touch on him in the entire contest, that was.
Ridley was just able to run with no defensive pressure by himself. He's always a good ball user, Jordan Ridley. Great finish.
Yeah, now it's out of 30 points.
You're my favourite YouTuber. Yeah, he's talking about you.
Yeah.
Thanks for Sports Master. So Ned McHenry got a big hit against his own ruckman and Roddy O'Brien trying to work back.
Well, I don't know why Ned McHenry was on him then. Because
it was a good read, though, from Stringer. He saw that... Oh, he wasn't even on him. He was on Carl Langford.
No one's even marking him.
Yeah, where are the defenders for the Crows? There's Laird. The players that were there... Oh, Mallory's working back there, but yeah, he should have been a lot closer to Peter Wright in that situation. Oh, it was Murray who hit him.
Yeah, Murray cleaned him up.
So at the moment, the Crows down by 5 goals, but there's still 9 minutes to go in this second term. It's heaps of time left. Hobbs gets it out to Perkins. He threw that Perkins. Should have got a free kick there, Laird. Then Laird almost threw it. O'Brien gets the clearance forward. Walker tries to slap it to himself. Great work from Zerk Thatcher to push him away from it. Kelly, that's a really bad kick. Nonetheless, gets to Snelling. Guelphy, great play. Really composed there. McGrath back to Kelly, and now McGrath again. Kicks a long ball down the wing. Good option. Great work from Perkins to get in front of the more experienced Sloan. So now Perkins plays on now. The Bombers just want to keep going. He sends the ball inside the forward 50. Up goes Phillips. Run under it a little bit. Coming through there was Caldwell, gets the handball out. Martin was really unclean there, not like him. He leaves it on the ground though, held well there from Smith. He gets the kick away somehow, that's really athletic. Now Scholl heads out wide. Can McHenry keep it in here? They're away here if he does. He keeps it inside McHenry, has some space, kicks a long ball towards the wing. 1-on-1, gets behind Fogarty. Great read there from Zerk Thatcher. He gives it out to Ridley, and Ridley, being good so far, goes in short. He finds Hobbs.
Wow, Hobbs has played a great.
He has had a great
first half.
Quarter, yeah.
Him and Merritt.
He goes in short and finds Ridley. And probably want to mention Ridley as well. He's been good in the second term. What a kick that is. Just centimetre perfect, as Dennis Committee would say. Wiedemann wheels around the right boot. Inside the forward 50, Jake Stringer on the lead.
Poor again by the Crows.
Not cutting off the leading
at all.
No cutting off the leading lanes either. They're dominating at the moment, the Bombers. Up by 30 points at the moment to get the 12th goal of the game for the Bombers so far. Jake Stringer has a chance here.
Like, what's Miller doing there? Like, he's just guarding nothing. He's not looking back to see if there's any space behind him. It's just pulled by the Crows in every facet in the last 5 minutes as the Bombers are taking the charge.
So Jake Stringer gave off the last chance to kick a goal. Pretty similar angle to he had. He drives towards goal, won't go anywhere near it. Sets up in the pocket. No one really gathered it. Gets past Menzies. Sloan's in trouble here. Menzies drags him down. And he's gone. Great work from Jai Menzies. He had an opportunity there, Sloan. Didn't give it. And this is a huge opportunity here for the Bombers. Brought in for that defensive pressure, Jai Menzies. Sloan had a little brief moment where he went to give the handball. Decided to not to do it. It was great pressure there. Bombers all over the Crows at the moment. Jai Menzies should convert from here to bring it up to 36 points, biggest lead of the match. Just had to give it off there, Sloan. Had to just handball it to space at that point. Jai Menzies comes in. 25 metres out. Bit of an angle to speak of, but he has no problems. Bombers out with 12 goals in the first half.
If only they kick straight the Bombers.
Yeah, if they kick straight, this game would be over. I was going to say the Bombers haven't done this in a very long time. They haven't, but I still remember back in, I think, 2011, 2012, when they kicked, I think, 16 goals in the first quarter against the Gold Coast.
Oh, yeah, their first season.
Their first season. So I do remember the Bombers absolutely... I think that was the game after they beat the Power.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the only time the Port actually lost to the Gold Coast, by the way.
Yeah.
But at the moment, right now, the Bombers are in 5th spot on the AFL ladder. I don't think anyone would have seen that at the start of the season.
Way.
So at the moment, now the Crows are in a bit of trouble. This is also a bit of... I mean, obviously, this game won't end like this. I think the Crows will catch back. But nonetheless, the percentage boost for the Bombers at the moment could be immense if they keep on this trajectory. Phillips couldn't win it down. Merritt goes nicely. Should have been recalled. Phillips gives it off to Parrish and out of the front of the stoppage once again. It's Merritt. Off to Mason Redmond. Loves the highlight reel, this man. Drives it towards home. Menzies gets in front. Great ball there from Michael Annie. Just got across. Hinge gets knocked down. Drives it towards the wing. This won't be deliberate. I think we'll stay in bounds. Coming through was Durham. Rankin went for the player, not the ball. Then went back for it. Couldn't gather it. Great work from Kelly. That was really desperate defending. Durham gets it off to McGrath. And now Snelling works it inside to Merritt. Once again, he's everywhere, this man. Drives a long ball inside the forward 50. It gets out the back there in trouble. Great tap down once again there from right. Just couldn't get it away. Scholl. Great pressure from the Bombers. Guelphy gives it out to Caldwell. Just fumbled though. He snaps from their own possible pocket. Snaps it across goal. Right can't mark. Can he soccer it off the ground? He can't. Eventually it trickles towards the boundary line. Hinge take it somewhere, man. He runs even more defensive.
Why do you
real
get
pressure.
there?
Ranking in a 2-on-1. Don't know about that option. And eventually everyone takes a breath, including myself, and goes out of bounds.
Why would he get kicked in there? 2-on-1 Rankin.
The Bombers fans are cheering as one at the moment. They're loving this. Jake Kelly was actually out of his side earlier in the year, has fought his way back and now playing on one of the most dangerous forwards in the comp at stages, and he's playing really well. Hinge steps past one, gets it on the right boot. Not usually using that one. Usually a placement foot. Nonetheless, Pedler gets it out to Rochelle. Now to Rankin. Rankin steps into some trouble. Merritt drags him down. He's got him. And gives him a couple of choice words as well. Zach Merritt. Been an absolute wonder player this year for the Bombers. Has always been a star. But not so. He's got so much more impact this season. Drives a long ball towards the top of the goal square. Couldn't mark it. Was Phillips. Immediately dragged down with Stringer by 2 Crows. Another stoppage. Throws it up once again. O'Brien taps it out the back. Coming through was Guelphy. Couldn't grab it. Saligo left it as well. Now Parrish sends a long ball towards the other pocket. Great work from Miller. He takes the mark. The Crows just need to take the pressure out of this game at the moment. Dawson needs to get into it as well. He's a lot more of a better ball user than the Crows have used it in this first half. There's a high ball down the wing. That's a shocking
that play there was just summed up the Crows this first half
at the moment. That's a poor kick from Jordan Dawson. He needed to take the pressure out of the game. But the Bombers, to their credit, have played some brilliant footy early. Really bad handball there from McGrath, but Ridley gives it back to him. So now he drives it inside the forward 50 to a leading Peter Wright. Oh, he got in the way for Snelling. So now Peter Wright handled it. And all that's a Guelphy, couldn't grab it. Worrell just gets it out of there for the brief moment. Phil Thorpe in front, so Thatcher did well. But Phil Thorpe, he grabs it, gets it off now. Pedler left it behind though. They're under that immediate pressure, the Crows. Parrish does nicely, and now Laverde gets it out to Ridley. Always has time, tries to turn out of the tackle there from Rankin. Just got the kick away. Laverde to McGrath. Great little turn of speed, great kick. Finds it half forward, he finds Caldwell. Caldwell just over the top with a great little kick, finds Laverde. It's just under siege at the moment, the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah.
They can't do much with it.
Probably haven't seen this much in the last 5 or 6 years from the Bombers. Maybe even close to 10.
Yeah, they've been brilliant today. So now Laverde sets it up to the top of the goal square. There's a lot of numbers here for the Crows and the Bombers. Now Wright gives it off to Perkins, just wasn't reading it. Dragged down immediately there from Worrell. He dragged it back under there. Perkins gets it out. Merritt kicks towards goal. The bounce will matter. Oh, back! That was brilliant. Oh, Menzies just couldn't get the ball foot to it. That was almost the smartest play I've ever seen from a ruckman. Coming out of defensive 50. Great read from Durham. They can't get it out of there, the Crows.
Nearly one of the best plays you ever see on a footy field.
He almost had that perfectly to Jai Menzies. He's got a small little leading lane there, was, I think, Langford. He decides to set it on the top of the goal square. Great spoil from behind. I think it was Michael Annie. Great tackle there on Brodie Smith there by Perkins. It'll be another stoppage.
They've had to send Dawson back and it just...
Yeah. I don't know if it's making a lot of difference.
It's not making a lot of difference at the moment.
They've had 22 more inside 50s in this game so far, the Bombers. They've been in control since the outset. O'Brien knocks it down. Coming through was Snelling. Don't know about that handball. Gives it off. Now Guelphy kicks towards goal. The bounce will matter. He just misses. Kicks it across the face.
With all this dominance, the Bombers, they want a goal here. They will want a goal before half time.
Yeah, so before the Crows can reset. They're dominating at the moment. So long kick here from Worrell outside of the defensive 50. Just wants to get it out of there. Ridley didn't touch it. Probably should have got a free kick pad against him there. But now McGrath, Durham, and now Laverde works it into the pocket. Not the best kick. And Worrell does well to keep right away from it. Gets it out of bounds. They've been under siege in defence, the Crows. They can't really blame... You can't really blame the Crows' defence, though. It's the midfield who just aren't showing much at all in this first half. They've been shell-shocked from this Bombers ball movement. They chuck it back in. Inside the forward 50 for the Bombers. Little tap down there from O'Brien. Great little basketball move there was Rochelle. He sends a long and high ball towards the wing. One-on-one is still Thorpe. Great work in front. Takes the mark. I think the Crows should almost chuck, maybe start of the second half, maybe chuck Isaac Rankin in the middle. They need a spark somewhere.
They got to try something. Rochelle just hasn't done it much in the midfield today.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to try something, the Crows.
So now Phil Thorpe drives a long ball down the wing. O'Brien gets in front, gets out the back though. Zerk Thatcher gives it off to Heppel. Heppel to Durham. He has some time here, Sam Durham. Drives a wall down the wing. Phil Thorpe couldn't mark. Gets out the back to Rochelle. Rochelle turns into trouble though. Laird gets it out. But only to a Stringer who handles straight into Phil Thorpe's chest. Ricochets back into the stoppage and it'll be another ball up. 1 minute, 22 seconds to go in this first half. Bombers have been brilliant. Riley O'Brien comes through. Maybe a block paid here. No, hold. It'll be a free kick to Riley O'Brien. He's been okay so far, but his midfielders haven't helped him. He gives it out the back to Rochelle, who sends a long ball towards the Telstra logo at half forward. Walker couldn't mark. Good ball from behind from Ridley. Durham met by two Crows immediately. And it'll be another stoppage. Exactly a minute to go in this first half. Oh my god. The Crows have not even able to touch the footy. Coming through is Laverde. Handles a high ball. He finds Perkins. He sends a bouncing ball down the wing, but Worrell reads it well. Has some time. Kicks it long. Back inside the forward 50. Going back with the flight was O'Brien. He couldn't gather it. So now Laverde gathers it nicely. Gives it out the back. Ridley. They're under a bit of pressure in the Bombers. McGrath probably should have just taken it out. Then he's paid a throw in. He has just taken it out. I think McGrath should have just taken it out to make it a certainty. But
that was the most amount of effort the Crows have shown in the last 30 seconds, in the last minute or so, than have the entire half.
Yeah. So back in the stoppage, Walker gets a little tap down. McGrath coming through. Chance here for McHenry. Great work there from Zerk Thatcher. Went down harder. Merritt just campbells it out of defensive 50. Don't know about that effort. Nonetheless, Jones gets it out to Hinge. 25 seconds in for the Crows. Chance to get it inside, but great reading there from Nick Martin, I believe. In fact, it's Archie Perkins. With 18 seconds to go, he take a breath. I think the Bombers will be happy with a 37-point lead at half-time. I think they would like a little bit more. I think they've deserved a little bit more, but nonetheless, Worrell goes up, left it behind though. Michaelani pressured out of it, knocks it out of bounds. So it's 6 seconds to go. This should be the scores at half-time. Bombers have been dominant. So it's 19 goals kicked in the first half. Don't see that very often. O'Brien knocks it down. Keys gathers it, then threw it away. And eventually the siren will go now. They're away again there, the Bombers. But nonetheless, the siren blows. And at half-time, the Bombers are in a commanding position right now. Scores are 12-9, 81 to the Bombers. To the Crows, 7-2, 44. Should have been his captain. Alrighty guys, so at half-time we have leading disposal getters on the ground. Darcy Parish with the 21, McGrath with the 20, Merritt with the 19, Ridley with the 16, and then Archie Perkins with the 15 rounding out the top 5. And then for the AFL Fantasy watchers out there, we have Zach Merritt with the 85. Has been brilliant, probably been best on the ground so far. Darcy Parish with the 73, Jordan Ridley with the 59, Peter Wright with the 58, and then Jordan Dawson with the 57 rounding out the top 5. Alright guys, we'll be back in about 15 minutes for the second half.
G'day guys, welcome back to the Boundary Riders podcast. Today we're up to episode 16 and we just completed another round of the buys, round 14. Pretty big week this week. We saw a couple of teams. We saw Carlton finally break their drought of 6 losses in a row, and we also saw Port Adelaide. G'day guys, welcome back to the Boundary Riders podcast. Today we're up to episode 16 and we just completed another round of the buys, round 14. Pretty big week this week. We saw a couple of teams. We saw Carlton finally break their drought of 6 losses in a row, and we also saw Port Adelaide get their 11th win in a row as well, which I'm pretty sure is a club record for them. The final 8 is starting to shape itself up right now. A couple of teams as well, like Richmond and the Giants, have actually given themselves a bit of a chance to push towards the 8 towards the end of the season now with big wins for them. And there are a lot of teams teetering on that 6 to 10 spots right now, 11th spot, that are like really sitting in different positions, and it's unknown which team are going to be making the 8. But I think the top 4 is pretty much set for now. But one thing that came out of the weekend was the fact of the dangerous tackle, or the sling tackle, or who knows at this stage what sort of tackle we're looking for. But now The question may be begged to ask, is the tackle dead? Because we've had a couple of seasons now where the bump has been supposedly dead, and I think it probably is to an extent. You can't really bump anymore. And the tackle now is almost getting pushed to you can't tackle anymore. Now, the two that were cited this weekend were Jared Berry and Lockie Whitfield. I believe those were the only two. Whitfield did get a week. Berry got away with his. And I'm not saying that he deserved a week whatsoever. I watched that game live on Friday night, and that tackle on Will Hayward was a brilliant tackle. Should have been pinned holding the ball, and I don't think anyone watching that game would have thought otherwise. That was a really bad decision from the umpire, and a really bad decision to suspend, even to tell Jared Berry that he's been suspended for rough conduct, because that was just a really good tackle. Now, the Lockie Whitfield one, I do think maybe that was worth a week, but again, I think it's really tough. I think probably because he did pin the arm and his head hit the ground, Jordan Clark, that's probably why he got a week for it, and I kind of get it, but I just think it's weak from the AFL to, yet again, really not come out and tell us what we are paying a free kick for. Because now it just seems any single time a player goes to ground and their head may hit the ground or anything like that happens, it's automatically going to be a week. And it's automatically going to be reported nonetheless. I think Jared Berry may have actually got a week if it wasn't for all the backlash that everyone was saying because it happened live on the game. That's why I think that Lockie Whitfield only got 1 week, because we've seen a lot of other players be getting treated a lot more harshly depending on what happens. And we even saw Sam Wicks get 2 weeks, which I think he probably deserved more because I think it was a stupid act. Yes, it wasn't much in the contact, but I think when players are tackling and they're getting more weeks compared to players jumping up and hitting someone in the head, which is not a football act, I think that's crap. But the tackle, is it dead? I don't want to say it is yet, but we even saw on the commentary during that game that people are saying that in a couple of years' time there won't even be tackling in this game. And that's not what anyone wants. This is a contact sport. Sometimes players are going to just, naturally just tackle someone and maybe sling them to the ground. And if the head hits the ground, I get the one like Nathan Broad earlier in the year on Parnell. That was 100% illegal. That's 100% an illegal tackle, and it should have been weeks, and it was 4 weeks. If that was done now, midway through the season, I think it would have been 5 or 6. And honestly, I think it would have been pretty fair. But a lot of them now are just ticky-touch ones that they're automatically paying as a sling tackle because a player is, falling to ground in that sort of motion. I mean, when a player is like trying to escape a tackle, it's not like they're standing still. So I think the umpires need to blow the whistle immediately. I know they did a couple of times in games this week and every now and then, but they're not calling it quick enough. They need to, as soon as a player gets tackled, you either pin him holding the ball or you pay a ball up and you grab the ball and quickly do it. Because players are getting players are taking a while to tackle, and then the umpire's not doing anything, so eventually the play either turns into a drag to ground, or, because, if you drag them to ground, it stops the play for the player, like the opponent. They can't get the ball out if they're laying on top of the ball. So I think it's ridiculous that we've had to get to this point now when the umpires don't know what's going on, the AFL definitely don't know what they're doing, and the supporters and people who are watching the game don't know what's going on either, and the players don't either. So it's just a whole stuff up from the AFL, it's just a fuck around, and it's just getting ridiculous now. It's hard to watch games now because I don't think any players have done it yet, like trying to cause the contact to get a high one, but it won't be long before players start doing it. And we don't want the AFL to start turning into that. We've already seen a lot of players starting to flop this year, and we don't need people to start initiating head contacts. I think is not where the AFL want to go. And we can't see, if they ban the tackle, I don't think they'll ban the tackle, but if they keep on banning all kinds of different tackles and players are going to get suspended for something that they don't know what they're doing for, I think it's just ridiculous. And it's just going to be the start of the end of watching AFL football, really, because if there's no contact in the game, there's not a lot of reason to watch it. But nonetheless, that was probably the biggest thing to come out of this weekend, other than some of the games that went through. So I think now we'll go through the weekly votes that we do every week, or kind of a review of round 14. We started off round 14 at Adelaide Oval with Port Adelaide versus Geelong. Pretty big game. Geelong were just coming off the bye. Port Adelaide had their 10 wins in a row. So it was almost thought that Geelong could definitely take a scalp here and get their season back on track. And the first quarter and a half, it looked like that was going to happen. But Port Adelaide in the second half really stood up, led by Sam Powell-Pepper, Connor Rozee, even Dan Houston probably was the best on the ground in the end. He was massive in that game. Not so much Zach Butters. He did kind of get tagged from Tom Atkins, which he actually did a really good job, Atkins, on Butters. But in the end, I think that Port Adelaide are definitely a contender now. They've won 11 in a row. And, I mean, eventually they will get knocked off by a team. But, I mean, they're currently top on the ladder. Collingwood probably take it back next week. But at the moment, Port Adelaide sit top. So you got to give them all the credit that they deserve. With the 3-2-1 votes now, 3 votes I gave to Dan Houston, 2 votes I gave to Connor Rozee, and the 1 vote I gave to Miles Bergman. Now, Houston off halfback was brilliant in this game. Gave a lot of drive off halfback. He was probably Port Adelaide's best by, I think, a pretty significant margin. Connor Rozee with the 2 votes, he's been brilliant this year. It's a little bit unfortunate for him because Zach Butters has been playing really well, that he's been a little bit overshadowed, but Connor Rozee and Zach Butters, they're going to be a lethal combination for Port Adelaide for years to come. And the reason why I gave Miles Bergman the 1 vote is because of his role that he played on Jeremy Cameron. Now, this 3-2-1 votes is not always a midfield thing, like I've mentioned multiple times. But sometimes it will be. Sometimes the midfielders will be the best player on the ground, which is, I mean, it's going to happen. And Miles Bergman would not have many disposals in this game. I think he would have only had like 10, maybe 15. But the role that he played on Jeremy Cameron was amazing. He didn't let Jeremy Cameron did not score a goal all night, I believe. He may have kicked one early, I think. But in the second half, he was amazing. He was undersized, and he just... I mean, I didn't even think that Bergman could even do that sort of role. He's been playing a lot more half-back wingman this year. But to go back on to one of the best key forwards in the competition and lock him down and keep him out of the whole game was an amazing feat. So I had to give Bergman at least the 1 vote. After that, on a Friday night, we had the Brisbane versus Sydney game. Sydney did play pretty well till about a quarter and a half, and it almost looked like, to be honest, that Sydney could actually pull this game out and take a big scalp and maybe get the season back on track. But late in the first half, Sydney's gave away, I think, 2 or 3 50-metre penalties, which just gave Brisbane the momentum, and they looked like winning throughout the rest of the night. They only did win by 16 points in the end, but nonetheless, they did play... Brisbane definitely got their season back on track after 2 losses in a row to Adelaide and Hawthorn either side of the bye. So, I mean, Brisbane... And to be honest, the scoreboard did flatter Sydney. I mean, Brisbane had, I think, 11 more scoring shots. So, they should have won this game by a whole lot more. So, but nonetheless, the 3 votes I gave to Oscar McInerney, 2 votes I gave to Zach Bailey, and the 1 vote I gave to Harry Cunningham. Now, Oscar McInerney was massive in the ruck. He was just giving pure service to all the Brisbane midfielders, and I think that Tom Hickey's got a little bit of work to do. I know he came back from an injury, but McInerney was really, really good, and I think that Sydney need the first touch, as we've said, maybe because they're not playing very well in the midfield this year, and if they're not getting first service, they're getting dominated in the midfield every week. Zach Bailey was brilliant in this game, definitely brought Brisbane back into the game late in the first half. He kicked 2 goals, 3, but, I mean, he should have kicked a lot more. But he definitely played very well in this game, and I think he was Brisbane's best small player of the game, like midfielder and that. In the 1 vote, I did give to Harry Cunningham, pretty similar to how Bergman in the last game got the 1 vote. This is amazing from Harry Cunningham. He kept Charlie Cameron to 0 goals. He kept him to about 7 touches the whole night. And he's been the best small forward of the comp this year, Charlie Cameron. And for Harry Cunningham to lock down Cameron and keep him with no influence on this game was a massive game from him. So I had to give him a vote for that. After that, we get to Giants versus Fremantle. This was a pretty big game for Fremantle because they had to stay in touch with the 8, and the Giants just overpowered them. Freo did not look like they wanted to play any sort of defensive pressure on this game, and to come out 70-point winners against Fremantle was a massive win for the Giants. And I think I've said this a few times, and I know my brother has as well, Jackpot Junkies. By the way, sorry I haven't mentioned this, but he's got work the next couple of days, so I had to get the podcast out. So he should be back next week. But we've been saying that Adam Kingsley is definitely the coach for the Giants, and they could make a late push through the finals, the Giants. I don't think they'll make it, but if they keep on winning these games, they're looking very good for the rest of the season. They've got a very good midfield. I think they could definitely... They're definitely going to be one of those teams that will keep the top 8 teams honest. So you won't be able to just bank a win against the Giants this year. But nonetheless, the 3 votes. 3 votes to Josh Kelly, 2 to Riccardi, and the 1 vote to Toby Green. Now, 3 votes to Josh Kelly. He was massive in this game. 30-plus touches. He kicked 3 goals as well. That's just a midfield performance that you love to see. He's been out for the past month through injury, so he was a big inclusion for the Giants in this match. And I do think that the Giants could definitely use a lot more goal-kicking midfielders. They probably don't get enough service out of their midfield, and I think that's the next step for them. And Josh Kelly, being such a lethal user of the ball, if he can start getting some goals as well, he could definitely push this team back into finals contention in the next few years. Now, Riccardi was very interesting. He's been out of the team for a lot of this season, but the last few weeks he's definitely grown into a key forward that the Giants can definitely utilise. He kicked 5 goals in this game, and if it wasn't for Kelly having a massive game, he would have been 3 votes by far. And the 1 vote, Toby Green, arguably the best player of the year so far, outside of maybe Zach Butters, and maybe that's about it. Toby Green has been massive. He kicked 4 goals yet again, and the Giants are going to be a hard team to beat this season. I don't think, and they're a good team to watch too. So if Adam Kingsley can get that defensive pressure, which they haven't really seen since really the inauguration of this club, they've been a pretty team. But if he can add some grunt to him, like Tom Green can bring, and they can bring that along, I think they're definitely a chance in the next couple of years to really skyrocket. After that, we get to Richmond versus St Kilda. This was a massive game for Richmond and the Saints, really. Richmond, it was a wet game. It was a really dirty sort of football game. But Richmond did get away with it in the end. St Kilda had their chances in the final quarter but couldn't convert. And led by Tim Taranto, Trent Cotchin, Dustin Martin, Nick Vlosten, there were a lot of players for Richmond who played really well in this game. And they're kind of pushing towards the finals now. They've won 3 in a row. They're definitely going to be like the Giants. They're going to keep the top teams honest. And they could definitely push towards the 8 if those players can keep their form as well. They were massive. Now, the 3-2-1 votes, I gave Taranto the 3 votes. He was massive. Trent Cotchin, I gave the 2 votes, and the 1 vote I gave to Dustin Martin. Tim Taranto was massive in this game. Got 38 disposals, a lot of clearances, kicked the ceiling goal. Massive game from Tim Taranto, and he's definitely pushing himself for a Brownlow. I know that some people will say that he doesn't have the best disposal efficiency, and I get that. But I don't think that's his role. I mean, Paddy Dangerfield has been known as the best player in the AFL not the best player, but he won a Brownlow a couple of years ago, 2017, I believe. And I mean, he didn't have the best disposal efficiency by far, but he gets the ball out of the middle and he gets the clearances. And sometimes it's not going to work, but sometimes it will. And that's what he's there for Richmond. And I think he's been a very good recruit this year. Probably been the best recruit of anyone. Trent Cotchin was massive in this one. Kicked a couple of goals and was just massive in the middle. He had about 29 touches. He's sort of brought back the form that we've seen in previous seasons. People may have said his career was done, and I was probably one of them. But in the last month or so, he's definitely brought back that grunt that Richmond have definitely needed. And the 1 vote went to Dusty Martin. He's definitely bringing back his form that what he's missed previously. I'll be interested to see where they play him for the rest of the season. He didn't kick a goal in this game. I think he kicked 3 behind. So, nonetheless, Dusty was very good in this one as well. After that, we get to Carlton versus the Gold Coast. And Carlton finally break the 6-game drought. They finally got a win against the Gold Coast Suns at the MCG on Sunday afternoon. Do I think Carlton are back? No, by any means. I don't think they are. I think that they should be winning this game at home against the Gold Coast, who really haven't proven themselves in Victoria in the past. A 10-goal win is pretty good, and I would like to quickly say that Adam Cerra was massive in this game, and this was a game that Carlton fans would want to see from him, not getting 35 touches and having no influence. He had a massive game in this one, and I think I mentioned last week that he's one of the most overrated players in the AFL. I don't know if he saw that from me, and I know it sound a bit mean, but I mean, I think he has been pretty overrated this year, and I don't know why people keep on saying that he's playing okay and being Carlton's best. Maybe he's been Carlton's best, but they're not exactly playing that good of football to have a best player right now. But nonetheless, he played really well. So the 3-2-1 votes, 3 votes to go to Adam Cerra, 2 votes to Paddy Cripps, and the 1 vote to Sam Doherty. Adam Cerra, like I said, was massive in this game. He only had about 25 touches, so I don't actually think he reached his seasonal average. But he kicked 2 goals. He had a lot more influence on this game. And I think this is the footy that Carlton fans want to see from Cerra. They wouldn't want to see a 35 possession game and having no influence on the game. They want to see him have 25 touches, and if they can start getting some goals out of their midfield, they could have a pretty good second half of the season, Carlton. And speaking of midfield goal kickers, Paddy Cripps was massive in this game. He kicked 3 goals, and to be honest, their key forwards in Mackay and Curnow didn't have a huge influence on this game. I know Mackay did kick 3 goals, but Curnow only got 1, so 4 goals between them guys. They needed their other players to chip in, and these midfielders did. I mean, they kicked 18 goals in the end, so 14 goals came out of other avenues than just Mackay and Curnow. So if they can find different avenues towards goal, Carlton, they're definitely going to have a better second half of the season. And the one vote I gave to Sam Doherty, I think he's been quite down for this last 6 weeks especially, and he definitely has lifted in this game. I don't know if they're going to keep on playing him in the midfield. I still think he's a defender, but at this stage, I think that he definitely had a good game in this one. And finally, we get to North Melbourne versus the Bulldogs. Now, North Melbourne, I think, actually did pretty well to stay with the Bulldogs all day because, I mean, the amount of goals that they were getting from other avenues other than Norton and Ugle-Hagan was actually pretty impressive from the Bulldogs. Obviously, coming off a 3-game losing streak, they needed to pull this game. And yet again, kind of like Carlton, I don't think this proves much for the Bulldogs at the moment because, I mean, they should be beating North Melbourne every day of the week. But, I mean...
Alright guys, we're back for the second half. It's about to start right now. And so we begin. Bounce was terrible. I'm just going to recall it. I've done it 4 times now.
How we started the game, how we start the second half.
Little tap down there, O'Brien coming through was led. Be another stoppage. Oh, it's because it's not plugged in properly. There we go. Getting out there was Dawson. Gets the clearance for the first time, I think, in the match, to be fair. That great mark there from Murphy. The Crows do need a lift in the middle of the ground. They do get the first clearance. So Murphy wheels around on the left boot, sends a high ball towards the forward 50. Walker nearly takes it in the one hand. Off the ground was Isaac Rankin. Great finish! That's an early highlight for the Crows in the second half. Isaac Rankin kicks it off the ground. Crows have got their first goal of the third quarter. Well, that's what they needed, and they started off very nicely. Great finish there from Isaac Rankin off the ground. How you doing, AFL, Big Bash League, NBA things? How you doing, man?
Has not sliced it in this game, Isaac Rankin, but maybe that'll just spark the Crows and spark him.
Opportunist goal there from Isaac Rankin. Crows get the first. It's back to within 31 points now, the Crows. He bounces it down. O'Brien gets the tap down, coming through his Parrish, left it behind. Great little spin move there from Perkins. Gets the handball forward and gets the clearance. Coming through with Snelling, couldn't bring it with him. Now Sled, out wide to Scholl, who just gets it on the boot. Sends a high ball towards the wing. Taylor Walker couldn't mark. Kelly left it behind. Player's gone down here. It's Jordan Ridley. He's not looking good. He's grabbing at his knee. Back with the play, though, for the moment. Sloan kicks a low ball inside the forward 50. Just too much on it there for Fogarty. Murphy dragged down there from Heppel. Should have been pinned, wasn't paid. Now Pedler dragged down there from McGrath, and he gets it out of bounds. Jordan Ridley is hardly moved. He's grabbing at his knee. As it happened, his leg is straightened. The hyperextension on Jordan Ridley, that is not good. This is devastating news for the Bombers defender. That is not good news at all. He immediately grabbed for it. He is not moved, and the game has stopped now for the Jordan Ridley injury. He is being taken off the ground, so they haven't had to use the cart, which is, quite a miracle in some stages. But that is the best case scenario. He's just severely hyperextended his knee, but that doesn't look good there for Jordan Ridley.
He's trying not to bend it.
So Dylan Shields immediately getting ready on the bench. Definitely not like for like. He's been really good in this first half at the moment, Jordan Ridley. Has been a massive player for them this season. He's coming off the ground. All the crowd for the Bombers are standing up as one, cheering him off the ground, hoping for the absolute best for Jordan Ridley. That was definitely a really bad sight to see. Why did they start the game? He's not even off the ground yet. I don't know about that. Anyway. Hobbs fighting hard, couldn't gather it there. Scholl working hard to get onto it. Snelling did nicely. Now Phillips just jams it on the left boot towards the wing. Coming through there was Stringer. He couldn't gather it. Gets out the back and now Dawson. He works it inside. He finds Miller, who plays on now. True centre of the ground. He kicks it inside the forward 50. Great work from Heppel.
Too easy.
Just got his player under the ball and takes the mark. So now Heppel, just back a little bit. He gets it to Martin. Really deep in the back 50 here is Nick Martin. So now Kelly down to Perkins. He works it out wide. The Bombers can go here. He's got some space here with Laverde. Works it down the wing. Great kick. He finds Peter Wright. So 31-point lead to the Bombers. Crows the only goal of the second half so far. Just a little bit of slow ball movement here for the Bombers. Works inside there, Martin to Langford. So now Langford plays on now. He drives it inside the forward 50. Not the best kick. That's probably the worst kick they've had all day going inside their forward 50. So now Dawson cuts it off. Scholl. He goes inside. Finds Laird. And Laird, little short kick. Dangerous though. Cut it off. Well done there, the Bombers. Immediately back on the counter is McGrath. Straight inside the forward 50. Great kick. And he finds Mac Welfie.
Like, he's went to a 3-on-1 there, Laird.
It had to be a centimetre perfect kick, and it just wasn't.
They're all the Crows players were behind the ball. They didn't want to move.
Yeah, it wasn't the best kick was not the best kick from Roy Laird, but Guelphy's been brilliant with the defensive pressure so far in this game. And a chance here to get his second goal of the game. So pretty much straight in front. Kick it on about 50. Guelphy comes in. Straight run up. Brilliant run up. Great kick. Gets home. Bombers get there first of the second half, courtesy of Matt Guelphy. Well, the Bombers doesn't look like they're going to be slowing down their game anytime soon. So Dylan Shields back in the seat right now. So at the moment, that's somewhat good news for Jordan Ridley.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
They would have to just check it a little bit. Look, best case scenario, he's just severely jarred his knee.
Yeah.
Which has happened before. But when you see that sort of action, you just immediately think the worst. You immediately think, oh, fuck, he's done his ACL. This is season over for him. And that would be big news for the Bombers. But hopefully he's all good. Dylan Shields going down to the down the race at the moment. So that's interesting news. Back in the ruck. Phillips knocks it down. Perkins couldn't get the handball free. Now Laird just get a handball out to Rochelle. And he gets it over the top to Dawson, who's going to get immediately met by Perkins. That wasn't a handball, I don't think. And it wasn't. Holding the ball. Great pressure from the Bombers. They've started the second half immediately how they started the first. So Perkins gets the free kick inside the forward 50 to a leading Jake Stringer. That was a brilliant kick and a great lead-up play there from Jake Stringer. The Bombers midfield have so many players going through there. They've got Archie Perkins, Ben Hobbs. They're obviously the big ones in Parrish and Merritt. You can get Kyle Langford through there. So many great players for the Bombers they've got at their disposal. But a chance here for Jake Stringer to kick his first goal. He did have a shot earlier, but he kicked it, no score. Pretty much straight in front here, Jake Stringer. It wasn't the best kick, and he kicks it through from behind. You can see that came off the outer part of his foot there. So Murray to take the kick in. He goes in short. Finds Brodie Smith, who immediately plays on now. Sends a high ball towards the wing. 2-on-1 here for the Bombers. Kelly more than happy to just knock it over the line. So at the moment, Dylan Shearer's coming back up the race. Maybe just had to take a toilet break, I believe it. Dylan Shearer really hasn't looking like he's coming on anytime soon, though. He's just stretching his fingers. I don't know about that. But nonetheless, Laird gives it off to Phil Thorpe. Now Keys. Did well in the Crows. Finally get it out through the front of the stoppage. Rochelle to McHenry. Great smother there from Redmond. He has been great today. Always grabbing off the hamstring. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
That doesn't look very good there for Mason Redmond. He immediately grabbed at the back of his leg. He's still on the ground at the moment. It doesn't look too bad. Just when you... Oh, this is a dangerous kick. Cross the ground. Michael Laney didn't mark. And the Bombers swarm on it. Langford has a couple of opportunities inside the forward 50. He steps across his body. It's not the best kick. Dawson got a terrible bounce. Snelling taps it over the top to Menzies. And Dawson will tap it through.
Yeah, just...
I don't know what that kick was.
Langford needs to go back onto his right and give that to Stringer. That's what he had to do. But...
All the players got the terrible bounce.
Yeah.
Dawson got a terrible bounce. Then Snelling got a terrible bounce. And then he tried to tap it over to Menzies. And now the Bombers have the ball back again. Right. Now McGrath works on the right boot. He hooks across his body to the top of the goal square. Coming through. He gets out the back. Another behind for the Bombers. Couple of points in a row.
Keeping the Crows in this. They're not putting them away at the moment.
So Dylan Shields still sitting at the back of the bench right now. There's not much of a movement from him. So they may be thinking that Ridley may have just really severely hyperextended his knee. That may be a really good case scenario for him. The Dawson coming out of defensive goal square, kicks it long and finds Walker. It looks like they've chucked Dawson in the back 50, try and give themselves some stability back there. But is it really like, robbing Peter to pay Paul at this stage? Because Dawson's been probably one of their best midfielders all season. Chucking him in the back 50. Obviously has played there in his past though. Little tap down, now Leia gathers it. He runs through the front of this play. Off to Pedler. He runs to 55 metres. Drives it towards goal, Luke Pedler. It's a chance, but Durham gets back. He's a great two-way runner, Sam Durham. Picked up in the mid-season draft a couple of years ago. Always plays like he's on the edge, but I don't know why. He's been a great player for them since he has been picked up. I guess he always has that thought of, this is my one opportunity in the AFL. Take every moment as it comes. So now Redmond, again, he grabs at the back of his leg.
Yeah.
When he kicked that ball. He's okay, it seems. Maybe it's... I don't know about cramp, especially in round 17 of the season. In the third quarter. I don't know about cramp, but... He is grabbing at the back of his leg. He seems okay. Maybe he's just got like an itchy ass or something. An itchy upper leg.
Yeah, I don't know. He's very weird at the moment.
Laird gives it off to Brodie Smith, who just hooks it back inside the forward 50, coming across there nicely. Was Laverde.
He's not running like he normally does, Redmond.
He goes in short and finds Merritt. They want to go here. Parrish almost got in trouble there with Walker. Just swung across shook him off. Now, not the best kick out wide. Scholl gets tackled well there from Heppel. He's going to be in trouble here. He had the hands free. And he's pinned. Heppel did well. The start of the season was probably at a crossroads in his career, but he's definitely reinvented himself in the past, 2 or 3 months as a half-backman. He's been brilliant, Tyson Heppel, at times this year. So the Bombers work it way back in the defensive 50.
The trainers just went out to Redmond, so...
He seems okay. I mean, he's not running... I don't know. It seems a bit strange. Oh, dangerous kick there from Merritt. Caldwell couldn't gather it. Great pressure here from the Crows. Oh, well done there from Caldwell. He just wanted the ball more. He just dove in, grabbed it. He steps through a couple of Crows. That's holding the ball.
Yeah.
Great work there from the Crows. So now Keys has the football. They've got to have a player for open here. Oh, he gives it to a man in Hinge from 53 metres out. Mitch Hinge can't get it there. The handball was just a second too late because he had to stop himself.
And he had to stop prop and then have the shot.
Yeah. The Crows have had a couple of opportunities in the past few moments. Just haven't been able to convert though. 38 points the difference. He seems okay. So Redmond seems all good at the moment. So for Essendon fans, it's all good for him. Redmond kicks it down the wing to a 2-on-1 Guelph. He couldn't mark. Tried to tap it out there was Phillips, but immediately met there was Hinge once again. Tackled by 2 Bombers, another stoppage. So currently in the other game, Carlton have had a really good start. They lead 20-2 against the Dockers. And Dylan Shields still sitting at the back of the bench. So Phillips knocks it down. Parrish trying to get the hands free, couldn't. Good pressure here. Keys tackles Caldwell pretty nicely. But then Sloan's dragged that in. Umpire calls straight for a ball up once again.
Yeah, it seems like they've moved Keys off half forward to the midfield and put Dawson back.
Yeah. I think they may have put him on Merritt to an extent. Guelphy at the moment he's on. But now Merritt gets it out the back, handballs it inside, just to the ground. Well done there from McHenry to tap it out to Keys, who gets it over the top of his shoulder inside the forward 50. Fogarty couldn't mark. Rochelle in front on the Telstra logo, dropped it, but may have been to his advantage. Now gives it out to Walker. Walker fends off one, snaps around the body on the left boot. It's bending enough! Fogarty gets a little touch onto it, keeps it inside. He has a couple of options inside the forward 50 here, Fogarty, to have a little bit more of a better angle, and he finds Chase Jones. And can you believe it? Jordan Ridley's back up on the ground, and he's got his knee strapped, but that's insane that he's back on the ground.
I can't believe that. And he's getting through the run-throughs at the moment.
10 minutes ago, we would have said his season was done, and in a matter of moments, he may be back on the field in a few minutes. Like we said, it could have just been a severe jarring of the knee. Also could have been the shock as well. Like when a defender when you land like that, you probably expect the worst. But chance here for Chase Jones to get the Crows back into this one. He drives it towards goal. Umpire does not move. Bombers being tested at the moment. Goal for the Crows. And the Crows needed that because they have actually been okay in the past 10 minutes. So Jordan Ridley is sitting on the front of the bench right now, and he's pretty much ready to go. Yeah, so Jordan Ridley looks better than Mason Redmond at the moment.
I think the Bombers do need him back on the field though, which is...
Yeah, they just look a little bit more tentative back there in the past few minutes. So back in the middle, O'Brien wins it down. Dawson coming through. He's been chucked back in the middle. Sloan immediately tackled by Caldwell at the back. Now they get it back to Dawson, who works it out wide. The kick to Saligo had too much on it. So Saligo and Martin working hard on the outer wing. Great tackle from Martin. Saligo's handball's ill-directed. Cut off there by Merritt. So Parrish now works it out wide. Martin picks it up nicely with the long arms he has there. Got down there nicely. Tapped away there for Sloan. Hobbs breaks the tackle. Gets it out only as far as Keys though. So Keys back to Hinge. Works a kick out wide. Not the best option. Not about ranking in a one-on-one. But nonetheless. Then he dropped it there. Merritt. McGrath is in trouble. Now Sloan almost threw that away. Keys did nicely with the quick hands to McHenry. He kicks a short ball inside the forward 50. Couldn't mark it. There was Murphy. Working hard there was Rankin. Couldn't get it. Now Durham almost dove on that. He could be in trouble. Umpires more than happy to ball that one up. Inside the forward 50 here for the Crows. They're definitely back into this one a little bit, the Crows. The Bombers have just let off a little bit. 32 points the difference. Tackled immediately there was Keys. And it gets out the back, finds Martin, who just drives a long ball to the outer wing. Right falls down, great mark from Murray. He gives it off to Dawson, so the Crows trying to bring a little bit more speed into this one. He drives a long ball inside the forward 50. Kelly gets a touch onto it, but it gets out the back to Phillips. Don't know about that option, but he gets it on his boot. Gets a bad bounce was Wiedemann. Now right, handballs it inside to Parrish, who steps back into trouble almost. Then drives it down the wing. He can't gather it there. Was Stringer in the last line. Dawson. Back to Jones. Back to Dawson. He doesn't have a right boot. Dawson's gets him back to Jones. And he goes in short. That wasn't 15, but nonetheless, McHenry takes the mark. So just over 9 minutes to go in this third term. Crows definitely had a lot more of the momentum in the last 10 minutes. They do need another one, though, to get themselves really cemented back into it.
Yeah.
It's still over 5 goals the difference. So now Rochelle plays on and drives it long. Up to Thilthorpe. Overrun it, though. It gets out to right. He quickly gives it off to McGrath, and now Parrish. He's got McGrath again, but he's ran himself into a bit of trouble. Greatly met there was Hobbs by Keys. Keys diving for it. He's been good in this third quarter. Worrell over the top. Couldn't mark it, though, was Kelly. Now Zerk Thatcher. Always done well. Now to Heppel, who has a lot of time to work with, but it's getting shut down quickly. He drives a long ball to the defensive 50. Hobbs couldn't mark. Now Ben Keys. He's been good in the past month. Ben Keys. Last line of defence. Dyson Heppel takes it.
Yeah.
He didn't put the foot through it there, Ben Keys.
He was like in two minds. He just didn't know if he wanted to take the shot. He should have.
Martin, that's touching the tightrope. And it's out of bounds on the fall. So the Crows definitely had the momentum in the past 10, 15 minutes. Guelphy's limping around a bit here.
Yeah, when he hit...
I think he hit his knee into the fence. But now Miller are working out. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Up goes Durham. Great mark.
Really poor by the Crows.
Yeah, they've got 3 tools up there. And 4, in fact, with Riley O'Brien. And they didn't bring that to ground. They've got to do better than that. So he works it in short, finds Merritt. been a little bit quieter in this third term, Zach Merritt.
Yeah.
Hasn't been seen as much.
I think, like you said, Ben Keys has gone to him at stoppage.
Yeah. So now Heppel has a little bit of time. He kicks a long ball. They've got the numbers here, the Bombers. And it gets out the back. Hobbs couldn't gather it though. Great work from Sloan. Off to Worrell. Has some time. Kicks a long and high ball on the left boot. 2-on-1 here in the Bombers' favour. Great work there from Phil Thorpe. Turns out of trouble there for Fogarty. Snaps across the body and the Crows are right back in it. Fogarty kicks the goal. Crows back within 26 points.
The Crows look better when they're moving the ball.
Oh, hang on. So it was touched off the boot, they're saying. Laverde...
Yeah, you're not seeing that from that angle.
Not from that angle. I don't know if he's actually touched it. But, I mean, again, you can't see shit. If it's called a behind...
Well, how can you tell from that?
That is the best angle we have.
Is that... really? I think it... No.
How are we supposed to even tell? Like, let's be real.
It's...
Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on.
I think you see the deviation on the ball.
Yeah, you can kind of see the bit of deviation, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see it.
Slightly deviates. It's all you... and the Bombers fans are loving it.
I mean, it's not much evidence, but I think it somewhat deviates. I think it must have been called off the kick, like from the field umpire, because the goal umpire probably couldn't have seen that. So if the field umpire calls it, they still have to review it. But I don't get why, because if the field umpire calls touch that position there, clearly he's in the best position on the ground.
Yeah.
Dawson coming through, gets the intercept mark. He's been good in this third term. That should be 50.
And that should have been a 50.
That should have been 50 against Phillips. That's a shocking decision.
In a couple moments in this game, the umpires have really missed.
Yeah. Dawson was round on the left boot into the forward pocket. Up rose Fogarty. Couldn't mark. It gets out the back. Phil Thorpe snaps to the top of the goal square. Pushed against McHenry. That'll be a free kick to Matt Guelph. He did well. Got back as the forward pocket today, Matt Guelph. He does well there to save a chance of goal there for the Crows. So still 31 points the difference. The Crows have been a lot better in this third quarter, though. Quarter time in the other game, by the way. Carlton, a 4-3, 27 to the Carlton. 3 behinds to Fremantle at home. That's not very good viewing there for Fremantle fans. But nonetheless, Heppel works it down the wing. I should have marked that. Wiedemann, that's shocking. Nonetheless, led to Worrell, and now, I don't know around the body of it there from Jones, but nonetheless, Hinch did well. He wheels around the left boot, and a bad kick. Cuts that straight off there. It was Dyson Heppel. He played on, he's in trouble. But then had time to get rid of the handball. Hobbs, been quiet in this second half so far. Kicks the ball down the wing. Stringer couldn't mark. Working hard was Perkins. Now across the body there was Caldwell working it down the tightrope of the boundary. Boundary umpire falls over. And
I think that...
it'll be a ball in.
I think he was lucky there, Miller. Like, he just stopped. I don't think it was out before he called that.
Yeah, I don't think the boundary umpire would have known if he didn't stop.
Yeah.
He's a little bit too honest there, Wayne Miller. But you see in the third term, they've had 14 inside 50s to the Crows, to the Bombers just 5. Haven't really taken their opportunities, the Adelaide Crows. No. Nonetheless, McHenry will get a ball down the wing here for a chance for Thilthorpe. Again, just overran it a little. Laverde gives it off to Heppel. He's been good in this third term. He sends it down the wing and the kick is poor. Sloan cuts it off.
Sloan's done a couple good things today.
He's been good in this third term.
Yeah, in this quarter.
Yeah. Kicks in the short. That's gone about 2 metres.
15,
Nonetheless, Hinge was around the left boot. Sends it into the defensive 50, but Murray takes it. So they're looking for a big switch here, the Crows. He works it wide. He finds Worrell. So now Worrell's got a bit of time. Short to Saligo. And he's got Dawson in front of him. Just takes the mark. So now Ridley not looking his best as the commentary team called it a minute ago. Great mark from Sir Thatcher. Inside the middle of the pack, takes a great mark.
That's pretty poor by the Crows. Like,
again, they just got to bring it to ground.
Like, you got to bring it to ground. You got the
three tools up there. This has been the problem. If you are a Crows fan, you probably understand that these 3 guys, if they're not going to bring it to ground, there's no point having 3 in there. Wiedemann did very nicely out the back. Dropped one a few moments ago. That was a lot better from Sam Wiedemann. He gives it off to Martin riding shotgun. And now Martin drives a long ball towards the forward 50. I was pushing the back against Langford. Free kick will go to Warren.
Made it too obvious, that one.
Yeah, that's a little bit... Trying to disguise it a little bit better than that. But, Warren will get the free kick. So the Crows, down by 31 points at the moment. As she done really well in this third term, not to let the Bombers really control things. Phillips gets a fist away. Now Keys, nice little slick handball to Laird, who takes a bounce, and he goes inside the forward 50 with the kick. Not the best kick, to be fair. One on there from Ridley. He does nicely. He gets it out the back. Laverde's going to get met by Rankin. Wasn't a good tackle, though. Let the arms free. And now Heppel goes in short. Great pressure, though, from Rankin to keep going, but he gets the kick away and finds Kelly at half back. 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go in this third term. Doctor's still out there with still looking at Jordan Ridley a little bit. Hinge cuts it off though with the intercept mark. A chance here for the Crows to maybe get a late one in this third term. He hooks across his body, another poor kick.
Another poor kick.
And Heppel cuts it off again.
That should be 50.
Wasn't paid. Hobbs with the kick across. Good mark from Ben Hobbs. Yeah, Heppel's been probably the best player for the Bombers in this third term.
Yeah.
Hobbs at half-back. He's got Redmond in short. Decides not to go there and he'll go longer than that. So he sends a long ball to a 2-on-2. Dawson couldn't mark, but he brought it down. Here go the Bombers with the fast hands. Great pressure there from Hinge to cause the turnover. Murray sends it down with a floater, but well done there from Fogarty to get in front. Did well with the body on Kelly. He works it in short. He finds Rankin. So about 50, 60 metres out here from goal here, Isaac Rankin. Doesn't have too many options, so he just sets it up to the top of the goal square with a really poor kick. Laverde thumps it away. Coming through was Merritt. Didn't gather it. Probably been held without it 3 times. There's Zach Merritt, and he gets the free kick. Zach Merritt, very smart there, actually. Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Was really smart there not to gather the football, because he knew that if he did, he was going to get immediately tackled. He goes in short, and he finds McGrath to Redmond. Just through hands here. They've got a little bit of overlap here, the Bombers. Martin did very nicely, and here goes the runner. They're out wide here, Menzie. He's got some space. He sends out a 20-metre handball. I don't know about that option. But right, they've still got the ball here, the Bombers. Langford, they've got players everywhere at the moment. They can run into the goal square. Phillips is there. Perkins looks at him. Thinks, I got this myself. I've kicked 8 straight goals this year from set shots. I'll give myself every chance.
Just to run. All that was...
Yeah, it was just...
Having the extra player.
Didn't really have a lot of planning on that play there, the Bombers.
No.
But they knew they had the overlap. And they knew if they could get those players open at the right point, they could get home. And a chance here for Archie Perkins. As I said, he's kicked 8 straight goals from set shots this year. He did have one earlier, but didn't make the distance, so we're not going to count that.
Should have topped it.
Nonetheless, Perkins, tight angle here.
Nah.
He's hooked it a little bit. He keeps that record of straight goals. But Wiedemann grabs it! Oh, he almost got the kick away, and then Hinge happy to put it through for a rush behind.
Yep, and that's perfectly the way you do it. For a rush behind.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do. You don't fart ass around with it. You just handball it through for a point. Miller thumps it long. Wasn't working hard enough there, Taylor Walker, and Laverde takes the mark. So now Laverde, inside the centre square. He's got Hobbs out wide, decides not to go there. He goes in a little bit further forward and finds Heppel. He's been brilliant in this third term. And now Jordan Ridley has been subbed off. So they gave him a little bit of a run to see how he would go. I mean, it's good to see that he came back out. He may just have a little bit of a bruising, but great mark coming through there was Peter Wright.
Hopefully that, for like 5 minutes he came back on, didn't make it worse.
Damage.
Didn't make it any worse, so...
That's really poor from the Adelaide Crows. It was a slow build-up, and to get a really free run at that one there was... Peter Wright was really poor from the Crows.
Yeah.
And this would almost seal it. I mean, it's still a lot of time to go. I wouldn't say it's exactly all over, but a 38-point lead late in the third quarter. It's going to be really hard for the Crows. Peter Wright comes in, settles on it, nails it. Bombers get another 38 points the difference. They're going to be hard to beat now.
No touch on Peter Wright then in that whole contest by Nick Murray. It was always going to be the problem, the Crows, without Jordan Butts in today, so...
Yeah, I think that... And also Tom Duday is also out.
Yeah.
So they're a lot of really good defensive players. It looks like Jordan Ridley's okay. He doesn't look too distraught, so I think maybe the best case scenario is that he's just done a pretty bad... jarring or hyperextension. It's not an ACL. I don't think if there was any thought of an ACL injury, they wouldn't have sent him back on.
Yeah.
So that is pretty good news. He has been subbed out though, probably just to keep him. I mean, if they were to make the finals, the Bombers, they want him in that team, and they don't want to put him in any sort of injury problems. But now back in the middle of the ground, Bombers dominating. Bombers get one back here to take another 38-point lead from the stoppage. Dylan Shields in the middle now. He drags it back in, fighting for his spot in this 22. Phillips drags it back under himself. He could be in a bit of trouble, is Andrew Phillips. And he is. Free kick to the Crows.
Ooh.
Got a little bit unlucky there, Andrew Phillips, but Rowley gets the free kick. So Jake Saligo has been subbed out here. I'm surprised they didn't put Sender Tool off the ground, if I'm not being honest. But nonetheless, he sends it inside the forward 50. O'Brien couldn't mark. That's another touch for Heppel in this third term. Durham handles it out wide. Shield has the ball eventually, and he sends a high ball down the wing. It's going to hold that boundary line very tight. It stays in bounds somehow. Everyone missed it. Coming through was Jones to Murray. He drops that. It should be gone. How is that not paid? I think everyone's wondering inside the Marvel Stadium. Then Durham leaves it behind, taps it on eventually to Parrish, and now Shield and Merritt. Sends a long ball down towards the forward 50. Look, the numbers here, the Bombers, but they don't have the time. It's Jake Stringer on the siren. A little bit too late. He kicks an absolute mung. Is that going to bounce through?
It's gonna
It may bounce through. I don't know if
I think it stopped.
I think it stopped. But it wouldn't have counted anyway. But despite the Crows having a pretty good third term, the Bombers run out the third term by a 38-point lead. Scores are 14-13-97 to the Crows, 9-5-59. So yeah, what do you think? Do you think the Crows have a chance in the final quarter?
Oh, it seems very hard for now.
Zach Merritt has been brilliant. You think he's got the 3 votes wrapped up in this one?
Yeah. This is something.
If you had to give the 3 votes right now, who would you be giving them to?
Or I had to probably Merritt 3. Really hard. I think. Yeah, I don't know. Really, it's really hard to actually pick this one. Let's keep them all goals.
Peter Wright's kick 3.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably Merritt 3.
Alright, I'll say mine.
2 right. Yeah, 2 right, and probably. I think Ben Hobbs has done pretty well. Oh, no, probably Nick Martin 1. That's hard.
Yeah, I'd probably go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would. Dyson Apple, if he had a good last quarter, I think I'd give him a vote. Because he had 13 touches in that third term. He had 4 in the first half. So, he had a really good third term, Dyson Apple. But yeah, he's just got to lift a little bit more. If he can hold that form in the last quarter, I'd give him a vote or 2. Alright guys, so 3/4 time, leading disposal getter on the ground is probably the best player on the ground in both of our opinions. Zach Merritt with the 30 touches has been brilliant. Darcy Parish with the 29. Andrew McGrath with the 26. Nick Martin and Rory Lamb with the 22 rounding out the top 5. And then for the AFL Fantasy watchers out there, we have Zach Merritt with the 120. Jordan Dawson with the 97. Parish with the 91. Martin with the 89. And then Dyson Apple with the 87 rounding out the top 5. So currently the Dockers have kicked the first 2 goals of the second quarter to bring themselves back into it. Wow. 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 Yay! Alright, so the fourth quarter's about to start, guys. It's still on the advert. It's annoying us, so... Oh, how bad is Jason Derulo's career going if he's on the fucking Voice Australia?
Wow.
Well, that's true, though. Fucking hell, bro.
Yeah, real special comments right here.
If you take the fucking money from that, then your fucking career is down the gurgler.
Oh, they took a fucking kick off Hobbs, wankers.
Dogs. Absolute dogs.
Yeah, fucking Merritt. He's gonna cost me. I'm gonna lose another game, Merritt.
Alrighty, guys. The last quarter is about to get underway. No, it's not. Are they going to starting or not?
No, they're getting back into position.
Why are they blowing the siren then? Can we get underway? And then, I think they just fucking cucked the crowd. Alright, guys, so the last quarter is underway at Marvel Stadium. Big last quarter here for the Crows. If they can get some sort of chance, they need to get the first one. But nonetheless, the Bombers get the first clearance. High ball towards Peter Wright. Always had his arm held. Play on. Miller tackled well there from Snelling. Dragged to ground. Ball up.
Yeah, pressure inside 450 today from the Bombers has been pretty high.
Why is it so hard to stream overseas? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. Perkins gets it out the back. Coming through was Wealthy. Handballs it to Merritt. And now Langford. 60 metres out. Jams a low ball towards the forward 50. Phillips couldn't mark. Schoenberg on the ground now as the sub. Now Jones sends the ball out of defensive 50. McGrath looked like he's trying to punch Keys in the face. Nonetheless, Merritt now sends it back inside the forward 50 up to Wright. Couldn't bring it down. Hinge gets it out the back to Dawson. Immediately under pressure, the Crows in this game. He sends a long ball towards Pedler, who couldn't mark. Now a chance here for Durham. Short to Redmond. Finds Martin. Don't know if that was 15, but it's anyway. It's hard to find a link. You should just be able to go on YouTube and just find how to do it. OBS is what we use. Goes in short to the pocket. Great mark from Stringer. So Stringer takes the mark inside the forward pocket. Been quiet today, yet here you go. Surprised they haven't actually chucked him in the middle, but I guess they're dominating enough in there. They don't. I mean, Stringer has a bad day, but the Bombers win by 40 points. I don't think they'll really mind too much, the Bombers.
Yeah, exactly. I won't mind it.
He's only had the 4 touches today. It's had 5 marks. Kicked the 1 point. Chance here. Stringer from the impossible angle. He nails it and salutes to the crowd. Jake Stringer, quiet all day, has his moment. Well, I didn't even think he was going for goal there.
Well,
he's always been a moments player as well, Jake Stringer. He lives up to the moments. And a great finish there. Oh, trying to find the game to stream overseas. Oh, I'm not too sure how you do that.
I think the app that they're supposed to use is Watch AFL on your app store. Something like that. That's the only one I can think of that makes you see it. It's a good kick, you know, though. It's a good kick.
Yeah.
Didn't look like missing.
So 44 points now. It's going to be incredibly difficult now for the Crows to get back into it. Phillips knocks it down. Parrish gets it out the back. Finds Shield. Back to Parrish. Fumbles a little, but gets it to Merritt. Merritt with a kick across his left boot. Wasn't the best option. Cut off there by McHenry. Is it subscription based? I'm not too sure. We're in Australia, so we don't really have to bother about that. But yeah, it could be. You may have to check. I don't know if there'll be any free services. So now Schoenberg sends a long ball out the back. Durham left it behind. Scholl couldn't get the boot to ball. Zerk Thatcher gives it to Durham, makes it his problem. immediately converge on at the Crows players, and the Bombers lock it in for a ball up. So about 20 metres out from the Crows' goal. Phillips knocks it down, coming through there. McGrath's happy to tap it through with Martin's assistance and a point for the Crows. First score of the final quarter. So now Redmond, he works it in short. That went 5 metres. That is not 15.
That's not 15. Jesus
Christ. We haven't been hot on that today at all. So now McGrath in the defensive 50. Long ball down the broadcast wing to Phillips and O'Brien. At the back though, Brodie Smith takes the mark. Been pretty quiet today, Brodie Smith. I don't think he's been seen much. Wait, free kick's been ripped out here. And it's going to be 50 metres. He said stand and the player has moved on the mark. I don't think anyone in the crowd knew that was 50 for anything, but I have to see the replay. I think it was Andrew Phillips who was on the mark.
Yeah.
So here we go. Brodie Smith, a chance to kick his first to give the Crows a little bit of life. Shouldn't miss from here. 20 metres out, not much angle to speak of. Brodie Smith drives it home, and the Crows back to within 37 points. Well, they'll take whatever they can get at the moment, the Adelaide Crows. So 37 points the difference. Crows definitely need a couple more here to maybe threaten a charge, but at the moment, if the Bombers win this match, if they stopped it right now, they would be in 5th position, knocking on the door of the top 4. I mean, they're percentage out of there from the Bombers, so they wouldn't be from the Demons, but they haven't been very convincing, the Demons, in the past 3 or 4 weeks. They beat the Saints last night, but they were very injury ravaged. Had 3 injuries by quarter time. Nonetheless, Dawson gets the clear ball out to Later's immediately met by Menzies. Schonberg gets it at the back to Hinge. He steps back into trouble. Does well to break past 2 Bombers. And he kicks it towards the top of the 50. Great read from Kelly. Knocks it away. Rochelle. That was poor from Rochelle. Had to take that ball and take the pressure. But now it's a turnover. Merritt on the wing. He has all the space in the world to work into. Perkins tripped over his own feet. Michaelani dragged the ground. Perkins takes him to the floor and won't be a free kick.
Merritt wanted Menzies to come up and he didn't. He thought it was for Perkins and they all
Bombers fans calling for a free kick, but they're definitely loving every moment of this at the moment. Knocks it down there, Phillips coming through with Schonberg. Well, didn't have the football, should have got a free. Nonetheless, Rochelle sucked away from Redmond. And now it's top of the 50. Head ball to Shield. He didn't want to give it. He eventually was into space inside the forward 50. Now Jackie Stringer bursts past 1, snaps towards goal, and won't be a score. I don't know what Dylan Shield was doing there.
For a minute or so.
Yeah. I don't know if the Bombers want to keep doing that now. I know that's their game style, but if they keep this at a frenetic pace, they could be caught on the counter from the Crows.
Mm.
So now at half-back is Adelaide. Chase Jones with the footy. Works it in short to McHenry. And that's another 50 from the Bombers. Little bit... Not the best player from the Bombers at the moment. Travelled a long way for the 50, but it was definitely there.
Another big 50, I think.
McHenry works it in short, finds Millerer. 60 out. Millerer, usually pretty good ball user, kicks it straight into Hobbs.
Hobbs
man in front of
him.
And now Laird, good tackle onto Hobbs. Looking for the high one, didn't get it. And it'll be a ball up.
Ooh. Jeez. Bit fiery in this last quarter.
Yeah. O'Brien, a little tap down. Coming through was Hobbs. Couldn't gather it. Now Phillips was pretty clean, but eventually tackled there by Schonberg. Being another stoppage. So still 15 minutes to go. There's still time here for the Crows. They are a pretty fast-scoring team, but they have to kick, 7 goals in the space of 15 minutes, and they've only kicked 10 for the afternoon. Schonberg and Hobbs go at it. Schonberg, been okay since he came on. Dragged down. Didn't get a disposal away. Should have been following the ball. Wasn't paid. Bombers fans still a little bit angry. They still think there's a little bit of game time in this one. Throws it in here, the umpire. Just inside the 450 for the Crows. Phillips probably got a high one, wasn't paid. Keys just socks it off the ground, gets the meterage. Coming through was Walker, couldn't gather it. Now Keys again, that was a throw. Wasn't paid. McHenry coming through. Snaps towards goal, to high ball. And it's out on the full.
As you hear the Bombers fans go up.
The Crows have to take their opportunities in this last quarter if they want to put some sort of pressure on the Bombers. And that was a really poor finish from McHenry.
Yeah. He had more time than he realised.
Yeah. He could have straightened up too. So now Laverde. Long ball towards the wing, 2-on-2. Great read from Riley O'Brien. Falling back with the flight, takes the mark. Pedler calling for it on 50. Don't know about that option. So now Smith, long ball towards Walker. It gets at the back. Heppel and Rankin running towards it. Rankin didn't want to put any pressure on to try and make him run through for the rush behind. Don't know about that option. Should have put on the pressure, but wasn't looking for it, and Murray thumps it out of bounds away from the grasp of right.
You're better off giving the pressure and see what they do than do what he just did then, leave him and go into his easy left foot and kick it long.
Yeah. So Mitch Hinge is probably one of the few players that can keep his head up high for the Crows today. O'Brien knocks it down, coming through with Shield, tackled immediately. Schonberg just gets the hands free, and now Laird. A high ball sends it up the chimney. Zerk Thatcher probably should have marked it.
Should have marked it. He had his man done with Taylor Walker on the floor.
Yeah, Taylor Walker's on the ground. He should have known that, but nonetheless. Still a stoppage inside the Crows' forward 50. They've had a little bit of the meterage in this third term. They dominated a lot of the third term, and now they've done well in the past 5 minutes in this fourth quarter. Guelphy gets the kick away. It's a dangerous kick. Schonberg reads it. Probably could have got a free kick. Wasn't paid. Tackled well was Brody Smith. It'll be another stoppage.
Yeah, Dylan Shield wasn't looking at that ball.
Yeah, he got very lucky there. Because that was almost a free kick to Schonberg. Another ball up. Walker and Phillips tie up. Keys immediately met by two Bombers. Their tackling's been brilliant today, the Bombers. Brad Scott still looking a little bit concerned. You know, this game isn't won just yet. Still heaps of time to go. And this game has been pretty high scoring for a lot of it. Schonberg immediately tackled and dragging the ground. Yeah. They don't like that second action. Don't think it wasn't a free kick, but it could have been if he dragged him a little bit more. Hobbs looking for the free, didn't get it. Walker turns out of trouble and gets on the left boot. High ball towards the top of the goal square. Gets out the back. The bounce will be important for Rochelle, but it rolls out of bounds. Forward pocket here for the Crows. So just in the forward pocket here for the Crows. 37 points the difference. Still just under 14 minutes to play. The Crows do need one in the next few minutes, though, to give him a bit of a chance. Phillips knocks it down, coming through was Pedler. Tackled without it, then drove his head into the ground. Durham gets the kick clear. It was a muddy old kick, dirty kick, gets to Snelling. Now Heppel, little inside-outer job, gives it to Hobbs. Great handball, finds Stringer. Great working from the Bombers. And now Wright sends a high ball towards forward 50. He gets out the back. Chance here for Menzies. Free kick's been ripped out here. And it's going to go to the Crows. I don't know about that, but anyway. The Crows should be able to win that ball anyway, but they get a free kick for their trouble.
Oh!
Michael
He's had a horrible game.
He's had a day to forget, Michael Annie. He's had a couple of chances in this game. Just hasn't been able to use the ball well. Now Stringer kicks it inside with a low ball inside the forward 50. Great mark by Morrow.
Yeah.
So the Crows now want to switch the play, try and get on the open side. Finds Miller. Hinge running hard, trying to get the option, trying to give him an option. Menzie running hard to try and break it. Great mark from Hinge. He's been good today.
Yeah. One of them, him and Laird have been pretty good for the Crows. Not many other people have been.
Yeah, they've been well held by the Bombers. Menzie may have hurt himself a little bit here. Probably just a stinger. He looks okay. A little bit of a limp up, though. Long kick towards O'Brien. He just overran a little. Now Keys. They got some space here, the Crows. Rochelle just thumps it forward. Yeah. Gives it a chance here for Pedler. Pedler can gather it. Steps back on his left boot. Oh. Then he drops it. Actually can work to his detriment. And now works it inside of Ben Keys.
Oh.
The Crows flirting with a bit of danger there.
They've done that all game, though, the Crows. The way they've kicked goals has been very hard. They've made it look difficult at times. But
thought that may have been the wrong decision there from Rochelle, but I think that's okay if they work it forward like that. And now Ben Keys, who's been pretty okay in this fourth term so far. He's been in the middle of the ground in the second half. He's kicked the one goal. Bit of an awkward run up here for Ben Keys. He comes in, pretty much straight in front. He's kicked it very low, but he drills the goal. And the Crows, back within 29 points. There's a little bit of a heartbeat. 31 points. I'm a fucking idiot. I can't count.
They need 6 goals, the Crows, to win this. So
6 goals to win it. They've got the momentum at the moment, though. Yep. Ugh. So in the other game, the Carlton lead by 4 straight goals against the Dockers, 42-18. So maybe a little bit more to this injury here for Jai Menzies. He's not moving the best. I thought maybe it was just a little bit of a contact injury, but he's not looking the best when he's running around. Wiedemann's been chucked into the ruck here. This is maybe a chance for the Crows to take a little bit of an advantage in the middle. Parrish couldn't gather it, gets the clearance off, ill-directed there from Dawson, but now Rankin has a chance here to give the Crows a bit of hope! He drives it towards goal and hits the post! That would have been
if
interesting.
he kicks that, you'd think the Crows might be able to do something here. But he's given back to an even 5 goals.
They got a bit of a run on here, the Crows. The Bombers haven't stopped to a standstill, but they're not moving the ball as much as they were. Not getting a lot of their hands on the ball at the moment. So now Parrish works it back to Laverde. Doesn't have a lot of options. He's got a lead up. I think it's Wiedemann. But Laverde with a 20-metre handball backwards. I don't know about that option. But
what are
they
the
still have
Crows
some
doing?
time.
They've got to push
Parrish.
up.
Oh, it's a free man in the middle of the ground. Still in shit. Oh, the kick just missed him though. Now O'Brien causes the turnover. Works it through to Laird and now Millero. They've got the run everywhere of the Crows. Now McHenry for about 80 out. He drives it towards the top of the goal square. Keys can't take the mark. Great work from Laverde. Keys looked like he had a certain mark, but Laverde thumps it away from him. Bombers have been good in defence today. There was a big chance. They're gonna stand strong in the last 10 minutes. Walker thumps it forward. Rankin, and that's going to be deliberate against Kelly. That should be deliberate.
Ooh, that's very unlucky there for the
Maybe
Crows.
because it was touched. Maybe it's because it was touched off Rankin. Maybe.
Oh, I don't think that matters. Well, it shouldn't have mattered there because where else is Kelly going really?
Little tap down there from Phillips. Thumped away there was Caldwell. Couldn't gather it was Hobbs. Now Walker turns himself into trouble. Just gets the hands free. Now McHenry. Good pressure from Caldwell. McHenry working hard. That's a throw. Great tackle from Caldwell. That was a brilliant tackle. McHenry could not do anything with that football. May not have the momentum in the Bombers, but if they can just keep up that defensive pressure that they've had all game, they've got a long way to winning this match. Oh, that's not a good kick.
That's a terrible kick.
A groan from all the faithful of the Bombers. Miller works it inside and he finds Isaac Rankin.
Horrible kick.
Just as I pumped his tyres up, he makes a terrible decision. The kick coming off the boot was terrible. And a chance here for Isaac Rankin to kick his second. Kicked a good goal early in the third term. Nearly kicked another great goal a few moments ago. A chance here to bring it back to within 4 goals. And there's still heaps of time in this one. So Isaac Rankin comes in. Big moment here for the Crows. He stares it down, Isaac Rankin, and he nails it! Crows within 4 goals. Isaac Rankin kicks the goal. They're in with a chance here.
And Brad Scott's got all the concern
on his face. We've seen it for Matthew Nicks for 3 quarters. Now Brad Scott's got some concerns. One player I think who's stood up in the past quarter and a bit is Ben Keys as well. Yeah. I think he's going to be very important. I think Mitch Hinge has probably been the Crows' best so far. I think he's been their best. But yeah, I think Ben Keys in the second half, I think it just shows that he's a midfielder. He's not a half forward.
Yeah, he's not a half forward or a forward pocket or whatever they were trying to do, defensive forward. But he's definitely a midfielder.
Great kick from Isaac Rankin. Gives the Crows every chance now. So they've had the last 5 scores, the Crows, 3 goals, 2. Back in the middle. O'Brien knocks it down. Dawson couldn't get there. Parrish gives it off to Merritt. Out the back to Redmond, who just gets the kick away towards the boundary. It won't go out, though. Gets out the back of Chase Jones. Menzies running hard. Keeps it in front of him. Taps it over the top to Miller. And now he can keep on going. Hinge is going to get dragged down. Handballs it towards the boundary line. Jones is there, though. Has some time. He kicks a long ball. Heppel's in the front spot. In fact, it's Redmond. He cuts it off. So now Redmond works it in short. He finds Merritt. He's been a bit quiet in this last quarter. He gives it back to Redmond, though, who sends a really high ball towards the top of the goal square. Up goes Peter Wright. Can't take it. Out the back. Kyle Langford may have just shut the gate. Great finish there from the Bombers. You can't let it out the back. It's a defensive unit. And Kyle Langford was on it. Great goal for the Bombers.
Yeah, beautiful by Peter Wright. Just go for the contest. Just go to the contest.
It's the one thing the Crows forwards haven't done all day. They've not gone up for the contest. There's been a lot of intercept marks. Ridley earlier in the game. That's why you don't need them to take 5 or 6 contested marks inside the forward 50. If they bring it down and give their dangerous smalls a chance, it can work out a lot. It can almost work out as a better.
Yeah.
Probably a block against Andrew Phillips there, but nonetheless.
Yeah, it's probably a free.
I think Riley O'Brien was a little bit too honest. He should have fallen to ground there. But nonetheless, Kyle Langford allows the goal. 5 goals the difference now. There's still time here for the Crows. But now it's going to be really difficult from here. They're going to kick 5 straight just to get level in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Can the Crows do it? That's a high one against Phillips. Wasn't paid though. Merritt just slaps it out of the centre square. Coming through was Perkins. Was clean. Now Martin back to Perkins. Looking for the 1-2. Martin didn't get it. He works it out wide. Hobbs. Great ball use. He finds Merritt, who kept on going. So Zach Merritt. He's more than happy to take a little bit of sting out of this one. Take a few minutes off now and they can work this game home. And he works it into Perkins, who was all on his own inside the forward 50.
Yeah.
And pretty much any score here could pretty much seal the deal.
No one even tried to chase him after that midfield, after the stoppage.
It looks like the Crows may have just fired their bullet and given up. So a chance here for Archie Perkins. Kick the Bombers home. He plays on. He's on 50. Drives it towards goal. It doesn't really have a lot of bend on it, so it'll be in the goal square. Right. Lets it out the back, and it will trickle out of bounds. Forward pocket here for the Bombers. So there's just under 8 minutes to go. Inside the Bombers forward 50. So a chance here for the Bombers to seal it if they can win a goal from this stoppage. Phillips and O'Brien all day together. Coming through as Laird. Just gets the handball away. Now Miller works it out to Dawson. To Scholl. And he drives a long ball out of defensive 50. Laverde takes the front spot. Great work from Walker to cause a contest. But Redmond gets it. Laverde went to handball eventually. Kelly works it to the last man inside the Marvel Stadium. And he finds Heppel. More than able to take a little bit of meterage out of this game right now. If the Bombers can just take a minute off the clock here, a minute off the clock every few moments, they could probably seal this game up. But Parrish wants to go long. Gives an opportunity for Wiedemann. Can't take it. Off the stoppage. Nearly crumbed it like a small forward there. Phillips couldn't get it away. Hinge. Off to Sloan, who got tackled well from right. That was a throw against right. Wasn't paid. Caldwell. Off to Nick Martin. Put that in the books. Nick Martin kicks the goal. That was 100% a throw.
Yeah,
but the Bombers ice the game.
Umpiring's been pretty poor in this match. That's 100% a throw, and it's game, really. That's game, set, and match.
Nick Martin pretty much puts this game to bed. That was 100% a throw from Andrew Phillips. The umpire was standing right there too. Here it is again. I don't know if this will be the best replay for it. It's Peter Wright, in fact. I thought it was Andrew Phillips, but that's a throw, 100%. I want to see that again. Here it is again. Oh. That's one motion. That's not two.
That's one motion. That's a throw every day of the week.
That's a shocking decision from the umpire, but I think the game was pretty much shot to bed anyway, but big decision from the umpire, not paid. Back in the middle. O'Brien taps it out the back. Schonberg, been pretty good since he came on. He gives it off to O'Brien. Running through the front of the stoppage. Great kick from Riley O'Brien. Finds Taylor Walker.
One of the first times they've actually got a good clearance out today.
Yeah, that was one of the cleanest clearances they've had, and it was courtesy of the sub and the ruckman. So half-time in the other game, by the way, Carlton lead at 44-19 over the Dockers. So Taylor Walker's kicked the 1-2 today. He's been very well held by Zirk Thatcher, I believe. But a chance here for Walker to give the Crows some little bit of hope. I don't know if it's much. Bring it back to 30 points, though. Walker comes in, kicks towards goal. Looks pretty nice. Kicks the goal. He's got his second. Hasn't been a high-scoring game, though. 200 points in it between the both sides. I think Nick Martin's taken the 2 votes now with that second goal. To be fair.
Peter Wright hasn't done much in this quarter. He's had 6 shots, but...
He's had 19 touches, though. Yeah. I think he's done. I think he probably gets the 1 vote at this stage. So there we go. The Coleman ladder leaders at the moment. We have Taylor Walker and Charlie Kerner with the 47 goals. Nick Larkey's coming up the ranks very nicely with the 44. We have Tom Hawkins there with the 40, and then Jeremy Cameron with the 39, still out with that concussion. So he'll probably be back in the next couple of weeks. But you can see there that Tom Hawkins is definitely coming up the leaderboard after he had a pretty poor start to the season. O'Brien gets a little tap down to Keys, who just gets the hands free. But now Caldwell got a high one from Rory Laird. That'll be a free kick. So now Caldwell in the middle of the ground, still just under 6 minutes to go. He works it out wide. Durham takes to the mark pretty safely. I don't know why my voice went like that, but anyway. Works in short to Dylan Shield. Been a bit quiet since he came on. Hasn't done a lot. Teammates just tell him to bomb it long. So he gets it inside the forward 50 to a leading Langford. Dawson out the back, great mark.
Yes.
Oh no, he's got a concussion. He's
take the disposal.
Take him off.
I need the disposal when I win it. Just kick it one, mate. Yeah.
Have you got a 40 points or whatever? What? If the Bombers kick 2 goals, have you got it under 40 points? Or?
I didn't put a margin on it.
Oh, okay. Dawson drives it long down the wing. Philthorpe can't mark. O'Brien couldn't gather. Well done there from Durham. Great pressure there from Durham. He's been brilliant.
I think poking the eye there.
Right, O'Brien probably could have got a high one there. Didn't get it, though. Again, O'Brien being a little bit too honest. He's got to throw himself to the ground there. Poor option. O'Brien knocks it down. Martin with the clearance. Kicks the ball 40 metres forward. Gets a bad bounce there. Hinge gets at the back. Tries to turn Perkins inside out. Doesn't. Drops the ball. It'll be another stoppage. He can't even open that right eye at the moment. Dyson Heppel giving a high fives and the handshakes to the kids.
Bit of fist bumps.
A couple of fist bumps, as you do. Great to see Dyson Heppel still playing footy and playing some good footy today. Had a brilliant third quarter when the Bombers were probably at their worst in this game. Rochelle off to McHenry and he gets the clearance. Long ball towards the wing. He's looking for Thilthorpe. Ran it once again. Really threw himself at that one. I think it was Rochelle. Wasn't a free kick. He's still on the ground here. Laverde as well. Now Martin gives it off to Perkins. Handballs it inside to a pretty suicidal handball off to Dylan Shield. And he gets immediately taken down. It's actually Lockie Murphy and Laverde have not moved.
Yeah, they both took out each other.
Yeah. So they're both getting up very... In fact, none of them have really got up yet. Lockie Murphy is now on his feet. Laverde's on his feet, but he's on his haunches too. Look like Lockie Murphy's okay. He's just got a bit of a stinger. Laverde gets up and he's okay too. So great to see for those 2 players. Little knockdown there was O'Brien. Coming through was Laird. Good tackle on Parrish, but he breaks through it and kicks the long ball. Dawson back into the last line. Great work from Langford to bring it to ground. Right. Taps it onto Langford. He breaks the tackle. In the pocket. Langford!
No!
He's the best on the full highlight you'll ever see, Kyle Langford. That was a moment. I thought he got it. That would have been goal of the year. I don't care what any other goal has been. That would have been goal of the year. To spin out of trouble like that and nearly snap a goal in the impossible block. That would have been amazing.
Best goal I think I've ever seen if he kicked that.
That would have been brilliant. But nonetheless, wasn't a goal. So now Laird works it back. So now Worrell. So the Crows look pretty much conceded now. Back to Laird. So it really sends a little bit of a message, though. The Bombers now will be in the top 5 at the end of this match. The Crows can't get a win away from home this season And it may be their detriment if they were to make the finals. If they can't win a game away from home, they can't really trouble anyone in the finals this season. At the moment, the Crows, with the live ladder... Where the hell is the live ladder? They have a live ladder on here? What do you mean they don't have a live ladder on here? Don't they? Whatever. I know they have it on your phone. You want to check it? So now Laird kicks the ball inside the forward 50. Pack of players go up. Phil Thorpe was probably the option there. Couldn't grab it. Well on there from Durham. Breaks past a couple there. Gets the handball forward. Just trickles towards the boundary line. McHenry gets there first. He works it off to Rankin, who kicks a high ball inside the forward 50. Walker's the hope for them. So Thatcher did well. So did Nick Martin. He's been brilliant today. Now Durham off to McGrath. He works it out wide to Redmond, who gets immediately met well from Rankin. They keep it inside here, the Crows. Murphy couldn't gather it. Rankin left it behind. Redmond tackles Rankin without it.
That was obviously going to happen.
That should have been a free kick. Well on there from Dawson to push his player under it. Wiedemann couldn't take that one. Dawson in short, finds Laird. Dawson gets it back, turns Shield inside out, did brilliantly, and kick inside the forward 50 was just as good. Finds Rory Sloane. So with that live ladder, what have you got at the moment? So at the moment, the live ladder reads that the Bombers are just in front on percentage on the Saints, and they are currently in 5th spot, and the Crows go back to the pack in 9th. Rory Sloane kicks the goal. Yes, he does. So that may actually change things a little bit, but... Yeah, it did a little bit, but the Bombers still have that 5th spot, and the Crows get the goal. Brad Scott, still not looking that happy about it, but I would be, bro. No one expected you to be in the top 5 at this round of the season. So if they can just hold this lead, or just maybe concede one more, the Bombers really have no fears heading into the rest of the season. You know, they've been competing really well against a lot of the top teams this season. They nearly beat the Power in 2 games this season as well.
Yeah.
They couldn't keep it in the last final moments, but if they can compete with the top teams, they're every chance to put some, maybe finally get their first win in a final series in about 20 years. Be more than that, actually.
Yeah, it would be, because it's probably since...
Yeah, 2001, 2002.
yeah.
Laird got legged, he'll get a free kick. Laird just trying to get a couple of fantasy points for us owners out there at the moment. That's all he's really doing at the moment. He drives a long ball inside the forward 50. Great work from Zerk Thatcher. On the ground was Lockie Murphy, who snaps towards goal, and the Crows have another. Couple of consolation prizes here for the Crows. And their percentage isn't exactly getting too much of a damage to it at the moment. Great goal from Lockie Murphy. Still grabbing at those ribs that he did get hit a couple of moments ago. So despite Jordan Dawson being well held in the first half, really, it really hasn't done a lot today. He still worked himself to 27 touches.
Yeah.
Has been okay. I just don't think he's had the impact that he has had in a lot of games this year. There's a minute and a half to go. They need 3 goals. Can they do it? They've kicked 2 goals in about a minute, so we'll see what happens here. We saw the Saints do it against Collingwood in round 5 and gather round. But you can see there the live ladder. Well, you can't see it. We can see the live ladder right there.
Yeah.
Phillips knocks it down. Coming through was Caldwell to Merritt. Well, that was a bad handball. Cut off there by Schonberg. Off to Riley O'Brien. Now Millerer. Handballs it back to Schonberg. To Riley O'Brien. A little bit too much on that. And now Merritt thumpers it forward. Free kick's being ripped out here.
He's giving a high free there.
He's giving a high free kick against Phillips. So it'll be to O'Brien. That could be looked at. Nonetheless, O'Brien now drives it inside the forward 50 to a pack of players. Walker in front couldn't gather it. Heppel at the back. He gathers it well. Gets the handball free. Laverde pushed off it. Wasn't a free kick. Laird gets tackled well from Merritt. And now the Bombers shake away that final fracas forward. And that would seal it. That will seal up the 4 points. If the Crows were any a chance...
That's weeks.
That's going to be a couple of weeks.
That's about the same thing that Ned Curtis did on Thursday night.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't
that bad.
It wasn't as hard, I don't think.
That'll probably be a week or 2.
Yeah, it's 2.
Because it wasn't much hit on him. Because Phillips got straight back up. But yeah, you're right. Guelphy handles it over the top to Caldwell. 47 seconds to go. Brodie Smith will cut it off. So at the moment now, the Bombers inside the top 5. Don't think anyone at the start of the season would have seen these Bombers right up there competing with the top teams too. They beat Melbourne as well in gather round, so they've been able to compete with these top teams.
But they ain't happy.
There are a few question marks on the Adelaide Crows at the moment. They've still got in front on percentage of the Bombers, so they'd love to go in on 5th spot. If they concede another one though, they will be down to 6th. Gets the handball out there, Dawson coming through as Redmond left it behind. Now Caldwell sends it up the chimney towards the top of the 50. Oh, O'Brien probably could have marked that, didn't know. Now Redmond coming through, gets dragged down to be another stoppage. So with 13 seconds to go, we can look at the next 5 games for both sides, or next 4 games for both sides. The Bombers have Geelong, Bulldogs, Sydney, and West Coast, and 3 of them are at home. You give them a big chance against the Bulldogs, Sydney, and West Coast.
Yeah.
And then the Crows have the GWS at home, Melbourne away, and then Port Adelaide in the showdown as to the next 3 games. Big 3 games for them. GWS in great form. Melbourne away from home. They haven't struggled away from home. And then the Crows, and then the Power to round out the showdown. But nonetheless, tonight is all about the Bombers. They've came home as massive winners. They've taken a big step towards September. Back in finals, the Bombers are bound if they can continue this great form. The final scores, the Bombers win 17-13, 115 to the Adelaide Crows, 15-7, 97. Massive win from the Bombers in the end to be the second to last game of round 17. With the season really rounding up in the next few weeks to see on these final spots. Big wins for these teams here. And Essendon find themselves 5th on the ladder. That will be the end of the stream today, guys. Thanks for watching. And new podcast will be out probably on Tuesday. And we will be doing a trade rumours video this week as well. So make sure to watch them for us as well. And thanks for watching. But we will catch you all next time.